season's over. Yeah, we can't make the finals now. It's disappointing.
There's the siren, bringing the game to an end, and the flag to Richmond. Skipper Roger Dean is chaired and Coach Tom Hafey acclaimed.
The side had been on the bottom for a long time, and then all of a sudden they tasted a bit of success, and it was just a terrific place to be at.
Overcome with emotion, Hafey experiences the finest moment of his football career.
Over that period from 67 to 82, 10 of the premierships were won by those two teams, 5 by the Blues and 5 by the Tigers. And the players would lift when we're going to play Carlton. Look, the two teams are great clubs over the years, and where as much as I hate Carlton, you've got to admire them. We would love to see them win the Wooden Spoon this year, of course.
But no doubt at the moment, there's not a lot of spark there.
No, it is sad, and particularly since it's 20 years since they were in the grand final and 22 years since they won a premiership. Well, you just hope that the players can dig a little bit deeper when they can see that if they don't win this match, they could finish up Wooden Spoon. That would be a terrible thing. You just hope your side's going to be strong enough to survive the period when they're not having the real success on the field, so that later on that they will be there.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Football, AFL on 9. It's Carlton and Richmond, two of the old rivals. And have a look at that, Craig Bradley, the oldest man in football, and Scott Camporelli. They're fired up for this game, you better believe it, because Carlton have lost 10 in a row, Richmond 5 in a row, and the Blues are fired up and ready to go against the old enemy. It's going to be a beauty tonight. Some late changes with Michael Mansfield out of the Carlton side and Sam Cranage in. And for the Tigers, Mark Chaffee is out. And believe it or not, Matthew Knights is back in for the Tigers tonight. Gary Lyon is joining me now as we see Matthew Richardson lead the Tigers onto the ground in his 150th game. And big Brad Otten's behind him. They're the two big boys that need to fire tonight for the Tigers to end this 5 losses in a row. Gary, welcome aboard.
Thanks very much, Eddie. Very much looking forward to it, and somewhat symbolic that it's Richardson and Ottens that lead this team out, because they hold the key, no question about it. And so looking forward to it. The gap there is, on the back of the banner, it said there is light at the end of the tunnel. You did say they hope it wasn't an oncoming train, because that was what the situation would be should they lose this match tonight.
I thought they might have cut it out so Richo didn't get injured going through the banner. They've had that sort of year, the Tigers, particularly with Ottens and Gasper at times, but the three big guns are playing. Let's have a look at the sides first of all now. And first of all, the Blue Baggers, as I said, Gary, one change with Mansfield out and Sam Cranage in for his 12th game of football.
Andrew Eccles also comes into this side, who from all reports were very competitive up against Brisbane. We know how tough a road trip that is. Ratton back to some of his very best form, and that is heartening. They'll need a big output from him. Whitnall, we saw the two, Bradley and Camporelli, pretty significant arm in arm, and I think it's a big night for those guys. But this man here, Brett Ratton, 28 disposals last week, took 3 marks, kicked a couple of goals and 10 clearances. He is one of the elite players in the competition, often not mentioned amongst the elite players, but rest assured he sits very comfortably among them.
Absolutely, he can. You don't get a testimonial at Carlton for being a dad, and he certainly isn't the captain of Carlton. And there he is, Matthew Knights. Well, how would he be feeling? Last week he could have become only the 3rd man in AFL history to have 2 lots of consecutive 100th games. He was dropped, and now he's back in the side. I don't know if it did too much. Gary, you don't think it's such a big deal, but I'm sure he does.
Well, it's a big deal, but I mean, you've got to pick your side on what you've got available. And look, he needed a bit of a rocket, and he got 30 touches last week. They welcomed Gasper back as well. Pettifer, who's a goal kicker who needs to really start producing. And look, Big Ray Hall is another player I think is really important and significant in this Richmond side. So I'm leaning that way, purely on the basis of Richardson and Ottens. I don't think Carlton can go with him. This young fella here is Mark Coughlin. He had 29 touches last week, kicked inside 50 on 6 occasions, had 6 marks and kicked a goal. That is what the Richmond supporters can take out of the rest of this season, players such as young Coughlin.
All right, and good luck to Chris Hyde on debut as well, the 19-year-old from Baruga. There's Big Lance. There's Murphy. They're ready to go. They're changing their boots. They're getting themselves all ready. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it's one of the favourites on the fixture any year in AFL football. It's Carlton versus Richmond. This is AFL on 9.
You're away, so you can call it.
Welcome back to Friday Night Football. Toss of the coin. Wayne Campbell wins the toss. The Tigers will be kicking to the right of screen to the city end. Carlton to the punt road end in this opening term. A special welcome to Dennis Committee and Dermot Brereton joining Gary Lyon in the commentary box tonight. Boys, should be a beauty.
Hello, Ed. Yes, looking forward to this one. It's been a tough road, though, for both these clubs. What must they be thinking from the first semi-final last season to this?
Let's go down to Tony Jones and Dr. Peter Larkins.
Thanks very much, Eddie. Good evening, everyone. Well, Wayne Britton turned salesman this week, urging all Carlton supporters to come out in their droves for this match. But just looking around, Doc, not too many drove at all.
Oh, fantastic, Tone.
Thanks,
Taking all my best lines. That's good.
But we should get up around 30,000, which is probably what you'd expect for 14 versus 16, but still two very popular clubs just the same, Doc.
Yeah, might get a few more. Doc, you wouldn't want to claim that as your best line, though, would you?
No, I was trying to help him out tonight, Ed. Look, Michael Mansfield, a late scratching guys with a bad chest infection, opens the door for Sam Cranage. And Mark Chaffee didn't come up on his fitness test from last week's ankle injury. And, of course, opens the door again for Matty Knights to start on the bench.
All right, as we look at Murphy and Tivendale giving each other a nice humpo-bumpo on the wing position. Dermot and Gary.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I've just had a look at that boy Edney for the first time. That's not fair that you can play a kid that size.
He's a bit small.
He's tiny. Let's hope he's quick.
Two proud clubs then. The umpires tonight, Kennedy, Morris and McKenzie. Good bounce to start proceedings. Down goes Campbell, pushed in the back, he'll get the free kick. Campbell immediately into the action. Well held last week, just 9 possessions, comes out wide. Coughlin, he was very good last week against the Cats, one of the few. Down towards right half forward. Kicks a penetrating kick well inside the 50. Richo almost stuck down in front of chance for Fiora. Grattan applies a tackle on Kellaway. And we'll have a ball up about 25 metres out from the Tigers' attacking goal.
Danny Frawley's playing to his strengths. He started both Richardson and Ottens inside 50. Richardson, Beaumont, his opponent, Livingston for Ottens. They loom as a danger.
Needed a bit more Velcro. There's the bounce. Ottens up in front, hooks it down behind. Fletcher immediately drew a crowd. Another bounce.
I think that's the other area that they've got an advantage is at the ruck situation inside their forward line. Ottens over someone like a Livingston. Really, they'll need support down there.
Rucks go at it again. Ottens reaches over the top. Camporelli, a half chance, spills wide. Ratton close to the boundary line. Kept it alive. Beaumont. It's still a live ball. Bowden over his shoulder. Careless defence by the Blues. Hand pass to Pettifer from Ottens. And there's the opening goal. Got to get it out of bounds.
The captain kept it in.
Yes, indeed, and they'll have to have another look at that. But that's great news from a Richmond point of view. They need more output from the likes of Kane Pettifer.
Bounce. That's what you want from your captain. Well done to Wayne Campbell. A goal to nothing. Richmond in front. Ray Hall gets the tap. In goes Duncan Kellaway hard at the ball. Zilla's in there as well. Murphy crashes through for Carlton. Will have a bounce.
And a big match-up, Ratton and Duncan Kellaway. As Pettifer and Hickmott go at it, but gee, two hard nuts. They are just a perfect match, Kellaway and Ratton.
Great to see a first-year player and David Roden getting in there amongst them as well and separating and giving his teammate a bit of a hand.
There's the bounce, adjacent to the centre circle. Whitnell won it down. Chino, high ball inside the 50. Fiora goes back and takes a courageous mark. Gutsy. Fiora pinpoints it. Tivendale at centre half back. He's away. Inside the centre square. Kicks down towards half foot. He'll direct it. Beaumont. Waste no time. Houlihan. Man on in short. Goes there now. This is Campbell. Carlton's Campbell. Not a good kick. Gave it away. Hall. Slapped. Andy Kellaway into a dead end. Bowden. Little chip across half back. Stretching is Zantuck.
Zantuck at half back. Just chipping the ball around.
He's been asked some big tasks to do this year, Ty Zantuck, and tonight he's got Brendan Favola, so once again he's going to be giving away a lot of size, a lot of height, and he's been asked to call a much bigger man.
Jason Tawney gets it away in that select group of 71 in the prospective All-Australian team during the week. Fiora crashes through. The left foot kick inside 50. It was a good one too, and Tivendale lurks at between full forward and centre half forward. Will line up 55 metres out directly in front.
Well, once again, the man who's on the end of this one, Tivendale, his opponent, see Justin Murphy, he's actually gone to lay the tackle, and Tivendale is up against Justin Murphy, so no wonder he found himself in free space.
Greg Tivendale directly in front.
Done it again.
He's missed. Shades of the last time we saw him at the G.
The good news is it's a great spot, wasn't it? And to get that ball back into space and spot up the free man, I reckon it's a good sign. Just says they're tuned in.
Caparelli spots a man. Merrington, left half back. Feeds it inside. Livingston. A tackle or semi-tackle affected the kick. Favola came hard, did well in that situation. Got a fist on it, knocked it out of bounds. So Tivendale could have really set things up and given the Tigers a fast start. He picked up 21 possessions, 3 goals and 3 Brownlow votes last time these sides met. Not the ideal start for him, missing from 30 metres out. Kellaway was up, goes after it again. Blocked up by Ratton, ball up.
And boys, Tivendale's had a couple of touches already, but one was to kick over the head of Richardson after he was initially ignored, and then to miss one there. His confidence with the boot, which is his highlight of his game naturally, must be at an all-time low.
He's got a beautiful kicking action. He just doesn't hit the target.
At the moment, that's for sure. Well, he's got plenty of time tonight to amend things. Coughlin was the man who got the first touch on the ball. He's been great the last fortnight for the Tigers, so there's some good news. A good young player coming through. Ray Hall to the boundary line for a throw in at half-forward flank.
I thought you were talking about Andy McKay, then a good young player coming through then. But he did. He put his body straight in the path of the ball there, and he just required some moving to get out of the way.
Throw in Merrington. We'll give it to him. It's picked up by During. Towards the wing position. Everyone waiting for the ball to go over the line and out of bounds. Finally it did for Gasper, and we'll have a throw in close enough to centre wing on the members' side at the MCG. Tigers are 1-1-7. Carlton yet to score after 6 minutes.
David Roden's 2 opponents for the game so far. Started with Craig Bradley, now got Andy McKay.
Boundary throw in. Tigers by 7 points early going. Friday night football. Whitnell wheels it in trouble. Gaspar immediately claims him, and we'll have a bounce. Gaspar sorely missed last week. Bounce forward of the wing. Whitnell up very early, knocked it down. Ratton knocked it wider. Kellaway, slick hands, Tawney under pressure, upended. High ball, floats back towards the wing. Whitnell came with the run of it. Forced to Campbell. Edney, sweeping hand pass out wide. Pettifer, a couple of youngsters combined 60 metres out. Took a while. Richo on the leader. Is it Ottens? It's Ottens who's taken the mark. They were both coming. Ottens has got it about 35 metres out, 45-degree angle.
Now, I mentioned the young boy Edney playing his 5th game, and you see him there. See the length of that handball there? He's under a bit of heat in the middle of the ground there, and his ability to find the ball to somebody or get the ball to somebody in space, that's pretty good vision for a 5-game player, an inexperienced young man.
Brad Ottens, only 3 career goals against the Blues, including 2 round 11 last season.
A bloke called Silvani might have had something to do with that, you suspect, Dennis?
I think so. Important kick. Looking to kickstart Richmond. It's bending back nicely. I think it's okay. It's a goal.
So it's the Tigers by 13 points. Quickly to Dr. Peter Larkins. More bad news for the Blues. I just noticed Favola limp off the ground, Pete.
Yeah, took a very heavy hit just to the right buttock. Got kneed in the buttock. He had a big corky and couldn't run properly, so they're going to try and loosen him up.
Campbell out of the centre. It's been all the Tigers. Roden over the ball. There's Dermot's new best friend, Edney. Got the handball working. Chance here for the Tigers. Pettifer's there. So too is Ottens, who wraps up Livingston. It's finally thrown out. No, umpire said you had it too long. Nice and tough, that one. And Ottens will line up from pretty much point-blank range, unless you're Greg Tivendale.
That's a good call, though, I reckon. He probably didn't have great prior opportunity, but he actually got a hand free or looked to get a hand free and then dish off in the direction of his team. And look, I reckon the rules of the game should be the risk you take with holding the ball is the fact that you're playing Aussie rules. You got it, you're fair game.
Probably had it long enough, as you say there, Dermot. Yep. So big Brad Ottens has got the opportunity within 10 minutes of the game being underway to really stamp himself on it, to kick his second and give the Tigers a 19-point lead. He'll kick from around 30 metres out. Beautiful approach. It's a goal. The Tigers have got the perfect start.
So an amazing start by the Tigers at half-time last week against the Cats. They'd kicked 3 goals. Lightning start. Bradley out of the middle, Ratton inside the 50, in front Merrington. Whitnell threw it on the boot. It wanders down towards the pocket. Zantuck did well, came back strongly. Feeds it out wide for Yora. Out of defence, up towards the wing, from behind. Strong mark taken by Hickmott.
Zantuck's opponent, Favola, has come from the ground, replaced by Thornton.
Hickmott goes out wide. During kicks inside the 50. And Lappin takes the mark. A little cuff across the neck. He's about 35 metres out. Interesting, prior to that last centre bounce, McKernan brought himself, I think, up onto the ball and won it decisively. Matty Lappin taking plenty of time. 19 goals for the season. His best effort 6 against the Kangaroos. This time last year we've got 22, so pretty much on schedule. Timing is everything. They need this goal. The reverse angle, and as you can see, he's missed by quite a margin.
2 steps, that kick up. 2 full steps. A little bit of a stutter at the start there. Little young Ty Zantuck gave him the cuff on the back of the neck. I reckon old Shane might have given him a couple. He's gone over the line then.
He went over by
a foot.
Absolutely, he was well over the line. And if his dad Shane didn't, Uncle Arnold Bridus might have.
And you wouldn't argue with either of them.
No, they ran the sports store in Broadmeadows. The only shop, as I said a couple of times, that no one dared shoplift from. But here's a chance now as Edney gets it away. Tigers can really punish Carlton here. Bam to the open goal. Oh, that's an 11-point turnaround from the shot from Lappin. And the Tigers can quite rightly celebrate because they lead by 4 goals.
And they might have just got away with one if we were able to have a look at that point kick.
Very good hands. 4-1 to a behind. McKernan goes up, wins it down, comes back to Hall, jams it on the boot. In front, Fletcher could have been pushed in the back. He's over the football. And plenty of bodies go in willingly. Bradley was lining up for a penalty. Now he's away. Gets a hand pass wider still. McKernan. McKernan decides to go for a gallop. Lays it off. Camporelli, 55 metres out. Steps around a would-be tackler. And what a finish. That is polish. As he gives the ball to Murphy.
There's a strange situation happening with Richmond, with Bowden playing at centre half forward. He lines up at centre half forward. Fletcher's against him. Ray Hall does the ruck, drops back into the back line. Bowden then becomes the, what would you call, the follower, the ruckman following the ball around. So Fletcher's forced to go with him.
Justin Murphy steps inside the 50, gives it a ride, hangs it out to the right of behind when they desperately need a goal. They trail by 23 points.
And that is working beautifully, Dermot, because what it does is it gives Ottens and Richardson room and space. And that's what, look, you've got to isolate Richardson against Beaumont and Ottens against Livingston.
Greg Tivendale, this time a little bit more conservative with his approach from the square.
I think he knew.
Zilla to Cameron, normally lethal with either foot. To Gasper, that was a hard ball to get. Murphy for the Blues, kicks it long, hoping. Zantuck stays back. Under pressure it falls. Camporelli punishes the Tigers.
He's going to let him know.
And he does.
Well, it's one of those ones, isn't it? That's just a concentration thing from...
Today's world needs...
Got a bit to say.
Runner wouldn't have to go out to him, would he?
He's still going. Play restarts. On the way down, Hall got it. Out it comes to Campbell. Campbell, probing kick well inside the 50. Ottens in front. Could have been pushed in the back. Ball doesn't come out. We'll have a bounce. About 25 metres out from the Tigers' attacking goal. Just under 10.5 minutes till quarter time. And Carlton's biggest problem right there, having trouble getting it.
A case from the back, sure.
Yeah, he might have got his second free kick within 20 metres. Richardson over the top, looking to give it out. Roden, beautiful play. Edney keeps the ball in. He might just be able to conjure something. He did everything right, bar kick the goal.
He's got something, this kid.
He's got a point there, just missed.
He's got something about him. He can move all right. Fourth touch for the night.
Good trap with a footy too.
Oh, he did everything, bar kicking.
Oh, I like the way he moves at the moment. There's not much of him. Want to feed him up at the quarter-time break.
Give him 2 oranges, Dermot.
Oh, yeah.
3 goals the difference. Tigers in front. So both teams have missed a couple of opportunities. Just settling into the game now. Fletcher takes the mark. Handball's on. Here's the star of the Carlton side, Camporelli, to another man of that description, Andrew McKay. 2 South Australians combining. Chipping the ball around. Beaumont on the left boot. There's an ordinary kick, a fingertip from Kellaway. Had the ball bouncing off Corey McKernan. Here's a chance now at half-back for Carlton to launch through McKay. He transfers play to the outer side. Running to it is Doring. Takes the ball. Third disposal for the quarter on the half volley. It's picked up by Thornton. Thornton around to half forward for Houlihan, who marks. Beautiful kick right in front of his eyes.
Lovely kick. Houlihan.
Haven't panicked, Carlton.
This is Thornton. It's forward of the wing. 8 plays 26. Just over 9 minutes till quarter time. And up ahead, a blood rule against Lance Whitnell.
Just had the one touch. Lance hasn't really been in the play at all. And to have the ball in the hands of this fella at the moment is a bit of an indictment on Richmond. They had that many numbers across half back and they were just slack. They were slack getting it. You can't hide that in Lance's mop ahead, unfortunately.
Let's go down to the dock.
Yeah, it's interesting, Dennis, because Lance Whitnell, a couple of weeks ago, you might remember, Carlton got fined $3,000 for leaving him out there. He's been running around with that split head for about 2 or 3 minutes and just got seen by the umpire. Even the bench hadn't picked up on it.
Here's Thornton. Humps it well inside the 50. McKernan from behind. Hall knocked it away. Bowden taken front on. Merrington got him. Loose ball about 15 metres out. Tawney in trouble. Camporelli put the body in. Whistle and a ball up about 15 metres out from goal as we go down to Tony Jones.
Dennis, there's been some real niggle in this match from the time of the opening bounce. Some verbal, some physical, all across the ground. And you just get the feeling it wouldn't take too much for some real argy-bargy.
Yes, and I'll tell you what, there's a bit of pain there for Tawney. He has either got a subluxation of the shoulder or he might have just popped the collarbone there. We'll have a good look. Doc Larkins will be the man to give the diagnosis. In the meantime, Carlton try to conjure something through Eccles. They get it behind, but that's bad news for the Tigers. Doc Larkins, we're going to have a look at a replay here. Pete, from where you are, what do you think? Just the way he's holding his arm.
Yeah, look, he looks like he got hit behind the shoulder blade, Ed. I think it's just coming up at the moment, just trying to pick up on the mechanism of it. So he's got pain sort of between the neck and the shoulder. It's affecting his strength in the right arm. So he may actually got the dead nerve at the back of the shoulder. We'll keep a check on it.
Zilla runs it out, kicks it out, up towards midfield. Upward bounce for Richardson. Roden a live wire, runs onto it. Feeds Richardson. Richardson 60 metres out across the body. Bounces down towards the pocket. Hickmott gets back, surrounded by Tigers. Kept his head, as you'd expect. Beaumont, McKay kicks it up towards the wing. Murphy comes on a lead, clutches it. He's on the wing. Lead towards the middle from Thornton. That's ignored.
Got to say, Carlton's backline looks stronger with Hickmott down there as well. Just gives them a little bit of solidarity. Only the 2 possessions so far. That's a good pair of hands, Corey.
McKernan hit the ground running, turns around and misses to the near side. Rush of blood. Margin 16 points.
For outside 50, he covered all the territory pretty easy on the kick.
He did. He got it there very easily indeed.
So 1-4-10 to 4-2-26. 5 scoring shots to 6, but the Tigers lead by 16 points. This is Coughlin. 28 disposals last week. This is his 5th for the quarter. Up to half forward from behind McKay for Carlton. Edney's been a live wire with a left foot kick to the pocket. Just pushed off the ball as he took his kick and he has sprayed it over the line and out of bounds.
Every time they go forward, though, they look dangerous, Richmond, because they've been able to keep plenty of room, and Petter for a couple of times has had space. The footy just hasn't got to him.
Well, they've gone inside 50 equal amount of times, Carlton and Richmond, 8 apiece.
Ball on centre wing. Carlton now through Beaumont. Beaumont loves to run, loves his left foot, so he's got both going for him, but nobody inside 50 to kick it to. So he had to put the brakes on. Eventually it spills to Wiggins, who kicks to the square looking for Lappin. Punched away, close to the boundary line. And it's Newman who takes it to the line for the Tigers. We'll have a throw in the left forward pocket for Carlton. And there's the work going on Tawney there. As Pete Larkin said, maybe just a bit of a dead shoulder there, a bit of nerve problem, and he's certainly feeling it. That one will be going right through the top of his head.
Tossed in, McKernan works in front. Hall reaches over the top. McKernan will get a free.
He's been good. Corey McKernan stood up. He's the one who sort of put his hand up. I think Dennis called it and threw himself into the centre. And just the way he's going about this, it looks like he's ready to assume
that's a free kick.
A major amount of responsibility in this side.
That was very clever too, wasn't it, by McKernan? Stopped about a metre short of the ball. He knew what was coming and he earned the free kick. Well played by the big fella. Now can he finish it? Big kick. to pull the margin back to just 10 points, and he does it. Straight through the middle, Corey McKernan.
Goals of the game to get back within 10 points. Back in the centre, McKernan is the general out there, and he does it beautifully out of the centre. Thornton was looking for everything other than the ball.
Stepped over it.
But he went back and got it, which was good football. Just a young player there. This time last year he was playing on the MCG in the Metropolitan Under-18s competition, so it's a big step up for him and still finding his way in the big time, but it was good that he had a second go at the ball.
Yeah, it looked ugly at the time, but he got back on it, which is important.
McKernan slaps it forward, gives Murphy a chance. Needs to take it. He knocks it out, though, to Bradley. Twisting and turning. Gets the handball working to Fletcher. Fletcher with the left boot up towards the half-forward flank position. Coming out is Wiggins. He kicked it forward for their last scoring opportunity. Does so again to Camporelli. Still outside 50. No one back in the square. Now Whitnell goes back, but Lappin was the target. Edney put his hand out. Newman for the Tigers clears it out wide.
Not much ahead.
Coghlan has to just sit and wait. Now he gets something from Bowden, who leads to half forward. It's out that way. Going with Bowden is Fletcher, and Bowden takes the mark. He did it beautifully. At half forward flank with his sixth disposal, Joel Bowden for the Tigers.
Normally a thumping kick. Goes down towards the pocket. Checked off the ball was Otten's. Well done by Livingston. And Murphy stood his ground in front to take the mark.
Yeah, it's unforgivable, isn't it, when you've got Ottens and Richardson in your forward 50 and the ball goes in there and you don't even get a contest. That's either a poor kick or poor presenting.
Murphy out of the back pocket. Sends play towards the wing. Gaspar came hard, intent on destruction. Gets a fist on it, puts it across the line.
Up the other end, Carlton's forward line at times has lacked all structure. They've looked up, they've had no target at all and almost exclusively leading options. They struggle to get a tall marking forward in the square, particularly McKernan's in the ruck.
Whitnell looking to lay it down in front. Coghlan emerges with a footy, kicks inside the 50. Clears Hickmott. Livingston needs to be careful. Hickmott did well. McKay brilliant. Shrugged off a would-be tackler, runs away with it. Goes looking for Whitnell. It pitches just inside the boundary line and runs across. 4.5 minutes out from quarter time, and the Tigers got the flying start, but they're being pegged back. The margin just 10 points now.
Yeah, the Tigers kicked the first 4, Carlton the next 2. 4.5 minutes from the ball coming into play. Whitnell does the ruck work for Carlton. Thumps it forward. This is Eccles. Past McKay. He goes back, retrieves the ball to his skipper and Ratton along the boundary line. Was very good football. Here's Eccles. So the three combining well to bring the ball to the wing position, and a free kick going the way of the Blues.
Yeah, held on to the right arm there. Zantac just stopped his opponent from putting it up in the marking motion.
Thornton to Campbell. Fletcher. Out wide. Here's a chance now. They've opened up proceedings on the members' wing. Livingston for Carlton, a high up and under. Looking for McKernan, who got to the front. Couldn't quite hold it. At the back of the pack was Wiggins. He got it across to Bradley, who's missed from point blank range. Missed the lot. He just clipped the front of the post going through. So the Blues now trail by 9 points.
Joel Bowden will breathe a sigh of relief. His decision to leave his man back here on half back just put his defenders under enormous pressure. Had to stay with his opponent. Left the whole half of the ground open.
Tigers work it away. Most unlike Craig Bradley, just overcooking that one. Gaspar towards the outer side. Clever mark. Bowden lays on immediately. Kicks it down towards half-board. Zilla going back with a flight of it. Clever mark. Zilla. About 75 metres out, and that suddenly becomes 25. Pretty tough call, I would have thought. Quick in the dead.
That, though, Dennis, when you look at the replay, Zilla runs away and he does angle as if he's going to play on inside. Lance Whitnell just follows him. He just follows him off the mark. He knows where the mark is. Watch this. Now, that's where the mark is there. Now, Lance runs after him. Well, maybe not from that angle. From side on, it looked like he ran after him.
Oh, you wouldn't want to have it on grand final day, would you?
No, you get the other angle, he just runs up after him.
All right, though.
Yep.
It's not home, boy.
You sound like Pythagoras. 4-2 to 2-5. It'll be a steadying goal if he gets it. And he's missed it to the near side, not even close from Stephen Zilla. So both sides missing their opportunities now, and the umpire
Gone again.
has found some more blood.
Couple under there, bud.
Off comes Whitnell yet again.
I think we can expect Lance to come back with one of the fashionable bandages around the whole melon.
Let's have a listen to what the umpire had to say.
Takes Lance! Hands up, Lance! Hands up! 15! You're going over!
Didn't give him much warning, did he?
He's gone 5 over, though. From where he was, he went 5 over. I mean, you can
Kennedy.
argue it all day long, but...
I wonder if Lance Whitnell had his natural colour, whether you'd see the red blood coming through there. But anyway, Doc Larkins is on the bench. Pete, what's the latest on the injuries down there?
Yeah, Jason Tawney's still struggling Ed with the dead shoulder. It was just a hit on the back of the shoulder, no structural damage. And Brendan Favola, he's improved a little bit, Ed, but still not moving well with that corked hip. So I think Tawney and Favola will both be limited tonight.
Okay, nice hands from Beaumont. Held the mark, kicks to half forward. Hickmont pushed his way to the front. Campbell over the top of him. Frentrina trying to get the work out. Ball kicked over the line out of bounds. And Favola has just stuck onto the field there, so he's on there for the last couple of minutes of this quarter, maybe try and sneak a goal. In the meantime, it's Campbell for the Tigers.
Richmond's secondary possession from the kick-ins is always fluent. Carlton are just stagnating coming forward from the kick-in.
Big couple of minutes left in this quarter. Richmond by 10 points. Houlihan shrugs the tackle. Now he wants to transfer play. It's a good kick. It was dangerous, as you could hear Dennis in the background. Livingston gets the handball working to Thornton. Thornton now up the middle of the ground, looking for McKernan, who'll come across. Kept his feet. That's the all-important thing. He handballs over the top. Wiggins is the chance. Into the open goal. Must kick it for the Blues. Wiggins kicks the goal for Carlton.
Four points, just over 2 minutes till quarter time. Interesting affair. Pride very much on the line. Eccles went in hard. Houlihan lost it. Roden jams it on the boot. McKay in the road though. Hand passes out wide. Bounced on its point away from Campbell. Edney could have been taken high. He'll get the free kick. He's on the wing. His hands have not let him down tonight. This is no exception to Cameron. Probing kick coming on the lead. Ottens through his fingertips. Richo cast in the role of a rover. Kicks it away from goal. Pettifer, who got the opening goal. Hand passes for Fiora. Chips it back inside the 50. Oh, two hard nuts there on a collision course. Kellaway and McKay went down. Little chip pass comes out from Eccles. And it's going to be a free kick to Hickmont at right half back. 1:20 to quarter time, and Carlton getting an appetite for it now.
Been impressive, the Blues. They didn't panic when they were about 3 or 4 goals down.
And 4 goals down. Camporelli, McKernan and Wiggins kicked the next 3. McKay with his 7th possession was a shocker though on this occasion. Roden might punish them all. Runs around one opponent from 55. He kicks to the pocket looking for Bowden. Good play there by Beaumont, who's had the sticky fingers tonight in the back pocket. No doubt about it, as Fletcher now transfers play. Chance for the Blues through Doering. Nice kick. Finds Camporelli at half-back flank. 45 seconds on the clock. Still chance for one more goal for either side. Up towards Favola, over his head. Gasper just held him out of the play. Lappin keeps it in, twisting and turning. Gets the handball going. Overrun there by the old champion in Bradley. It opens the door for Fiora and the Tigers. Here's a chance now for Newman. Left foot kick to centre half forward. Richo's the man. Up he goes. Couldn't quite hold it. Roden lurking at the foot of the pack. Good play by Hickmont. Got it going at the Beaumont to McKay. McKay out to the wing position. Away they go. The boundary line will beat them all, and I think that'll just about see us as far as the score is concerned in this opening term. And it's been a lively encounter between these great traditional rivals, Carlton and Richmond. We'll have a throw in with 12 seconds left on the clock.
Nice still night. Pretty brisk, but the breeze not a factor. Eccles up very high, hooked it down behind. Zilla lays it off. Zantuck. Now Fiora in trouble. Dying seconds of the term. Kellaway back to Zantuck on the siren. Momentum certainly shifted from midway through that term. The Tigers got a flying start. Carlton have come back strongly. He still hasn't stopped. He's still talking to Zantuck. He's got a great memory.
Yeah, well,
let's call him the elephant.
I've got a funny feeling that Ty Zantuck has as well. All right, we'll take a break as Wayne Britton goes on to have a bit of a chat. This man hasn't stopped talking all night. Scott Camporelli. It's the Tigers by 4 points at quarter time.
A moment's hesitation keeps you wondering why, and you won't be satisfied till you see this meeting of the minds inside of me. Yeah, it's creeping. little less conversation, a little more action, please. All this aggravation ain't satisfaction in me. A little more bang, a little less fun, a little less bang, a little more spark. Close your mouth and open up your heart, and baby, satisfy me. Satisfy me, baby.
Elvis and a little conversation there. Scott Camporelli having plenty to say. Kicked the goal as well. McKernan and Wiggins one each for the Tigers. Ottens is two. Pettifer and Bowden be interested in this quarter. Both these teams have had shocking second quarters throughout the year. They've won 5 of 13, both of them. And of course tonight, the big one, as Aussie Leighton Hewitt, the number 1 seed, goes up against the hope of the British Empire, Tim Henman, the number 4 seed. Immediately following the football, Leighton Hewitt versus Tim Henman, men's semi-final of Wimbledon.
Well, Richmond lost their way after a terrific start to this game. They banged on 4 goals before Carlton opened with 1. And really, the space they had in the forward line was what was doing it for them.
All right, we'll go down to Dr. Peter Larkins for an update. Just before we do, we've got the score track here. Yep. Gary, just take us through the Tigers.
Well, there you go. The dots early in the quarter. You see the time frame down the bottom, all within that area, almost directly in front of goal. They got it to Wattens. He was 1 out. He was dangerous. The second half of that quarter, they just stopped going. And there was an example late in the game with Roden, who went to the pocket to Bowden in a contested situation. Should have gone to Ottens in the square.
Quickly down to the dock.
Yeah, certainly Hayden Kennedy on the bench here, having looked like he rolled an ankle just before quarter time. Jason Tawney with a shoulder injury, and Brendan Favola back on the bench for Carlton with his cork hip, not travelling well.
Well, Jason Quigley would be happy. The emergency umpire gets a Guernsey.
McKernan knocks it down. In goes Ratton, and we'll have a ball up. Bad luck for Hayden Kennedy, the veteran.
Wasn't kicked by Lance Whitnell on the way off, was he?
I'm surprised Scott Camporelli didn't talk to him as he left. Ball behind, outmanoeuvred by McKernan, who thumps it very wide. Coughlin onto the loose ball. Looks a player of potential, although that kick out of bounds on the foot. Yes, not good enough.
Yeah, shabby kick, but he does find it, doesn't he? Last 2 weeks we've seen the kid Chris Newman just get on the end of the ball, and once again he recognised the first as the first player where it was going out of the centre bounce then.
During from Hickmott. Wide to Campbell, close to the boundary line. 2 youngsters there, Campbell and Coughlin. Campbell comes back towards the middle. During again, forward of half back, looks down towards half forward. No player behind him as he kicked that ball from either side. Cameron was up, couldn't hang on. Charging through down there was McKay, lost it. Campbell, Edney swings it out very wide towards the outer side wing. Plenty of blues out there. It's coming back. During, forward of the wing, jams it down towards half forward, and Beaumont takes the mark about 60 metres out.
Matty Richardson, his opponent, is 100 metres away, just resting by himself in the forward line.
Beaumont bombs along. McKernan has the fly and takes the mark.
And that is exactly right. Matthew Richardson is still inside his forward 50 with his opponent Beaumont kicking the ball to McKernan. So that's a great confidence builder for the defence of Carlton, who have held up really well. And that's the other pleasing thing from a Carlton point of view is McKernan's run and jump, his timing is back, and his hands are sound.
And his teeth were gritted and he wanted the ball. And it's actually, as Dennis said earlier, has really come to play tonight. There's no doubt about it. He's kicked 1 goal, 1. Corey McKernan comes in and puts Carlton in front for the first time tonight with his second.
4 goals in this one. In front now by 2 points. McKernan, a catalyst in all of that, goes up and wins it down again. Campbell, Kellaway, Andy lobs it towards half forward. Bit of a push from During. Fiore didn't get a free. Bowden did well. Kellaway's looping hand pass. Hall. Hand passes down towards the 50. Bowden onto the loose ball. Feeds it wide. Cameron, the chip pass to the wing. Down towards the pocket. The man outside. Pettifer has marked about 20 metres out from goal.
You see Adrian Hickmott there, just a little bit of experience. You see when he came up to him, Gaz, puts the arms around him, recognises him, second-year player, and just has a sly word where maybe squeezes a bit of skin on his back when he pinches him, and hopefully he'd think to himself, this kid might just punch me in the gob or something like that to let me go and to be reversed. Look at him still mouthing off there, just a little bit of experience.
It's like a basketball fast break, that one. And the man running the wing, the man that gets the goal and the glory, is Pettifer, gets his second.
Well, I think the extension of that, is that he could come back to Adrian Hickmott and say, well, that's all good and well, but gee, you've given me...
And the big Richmond forward has to actually show his younger players, I'm going to stand up for you kids, it's all right. Do what you do. I'm going to be there behind you and show you the way physically.
And you could hear the umpire in the background saying, don't give away the free. Tigers back in front. They kick the first 4, Carlton the next 4, and now the Tigers go forward again, having stopped that run for the Blues. It's up towards the forward 50. Bowden almost with a fingertip. He goes a second time. Little toe poke off the ground. Just puts it inside the 50. Carlton have got the numbers. Running out of the fences, Campbell. He kicks it up the centre of the ground. Going back was Hall. Couldn't hold the mark. Tippendale over the top of the ball. In goes Andrew Kellaway. He's grabbed and thrown in as well. Umpires picked out a free kick and it will go the way
Ball came out, you dragged on the ground.
of Kellaway. You heard what happened there. The ball had come out and he was still thrown to the ground. Out wide to Zantuck.
Gee, Brett Ratton needs to find some footy. They're getting no clearances from him at all.
Zantuck to the forward 50 over the head of Ottens. Hickmott, Pettifer can square up. Missed him altogether. Eccles. Nice kick, no, just missed the target of Murphy. Good play by Cameron, came to meet the ball. Around the corner he goes, a high up and under. Ottens is the man again. From behind, Ottens does it beautifully.
Honestly, if the penny hasn't dropped by now for this Richmond side, is to put it in his area. It doesn't matter if it's lace out or not. I mean, get it into his area. That's 2 against 1. He's in good form.
Yeah,
just give him as many marking contests as you possibly can.
Did it well.
Is a good mark. See how long his left arm was pinned down and he brought it together very quickly. It's very hard to mark when you've only got one hand up. And you have to slap the other one back into the ball quickly.
Brad Ottens has had 2 kicks. From those 2 kicks, he has delivered 2 goals. Just as he's coming in, Doc will just come down here in a moment. I know you've got something to tell us. Let's see. Ottens from outside the 50. Reverse angle shot. You be the goal umpire. Beautiful flowing delivery stride, and he kicks his 3rd.
The Doc.
Yeah, the goal was more important, Ed, but Brendan Favola in the medical rooms with the doctor, probably going to have an injection into the back of the sacrum joint, which is where he got the big hit over the buttock, so still struggling.
Campbell on his knees after McKinnon knocked it down. Centre clearances favour the Tigers 6-2. When we talk about change, from the first semi-final last season, Carlton missing 12 players, Richmond missing 8. Quite remarkable. Play restarts. McKernan got a fist on it. Ratton went down. Coughlin did well to Hall, who lost it. During, clever. Lappin quick. Comes out wide. Now a chance for Fletcher. Chips down towards half forward. Needed to be precise, and it was. Camporelli. He's about 65 metres out. Whitwell goes to the pocket. The kick goes in that direction. Checked off the ball. Fiora gets back first. Deep in his own defence. He's a left footer. He decides to run it out. He's trying to work back on that left foot. He's in all sorts of trouble. All sorts of trouble. Well, so telltale. Had to kick it with his right or come back this way. About here, he knows he's got a problem.
Look like a player, and if we get the chance to ask Danny Foley said, look, I'm going to free you up. I want you to take the game on, and if you get caught, well, bad luck. At least have a crack at it. No, I don't think Danny Foley would be overcritical of that.
He will if he kicks it.
Murphy steps inside the 50. Hands it out to the right.
No, I don't reckon he would.
I was being facetious.
Yeah, I just reckon he's saying, look, we've had that sort of a year. We can't make the final. I'm going to free you blokes up. Fiora, you're a talent. You can run the footy. Run it. And if you get caught, well, I'll back you up.
Kick it with your right foot, though, surely.
Wiggins laid the tackle there, and Murphy comes in and claims the kick. He's already missed 2 now.
Very good play. Here's Fiora. Got it away that time. Coughlin did well. Some of the young Tigers, as you said, Gary, maybe just free spirits tonight. Another one. This is Pettifer. Steps around. Livingston can run in and kick his goal, and does. That's his 3rd.
4 goals. Carlton the next 4. Tigers the last 3. Developing a certain tempo. McKernan stopped in mid-air. He won it down. Zilla on all 4s, and that ball's not coming out, so we'll have a bounce. And haven't they responded, Richmond? 7-3 plays 4-6 after Carlton just moments ago, hit the lead for the first time.
I'm a huge Brett Ratton fan, but he's only had 2 touches and he's not doing what he is put in there for. You just got to get him out of the middle now.
Ball hurriedly into the path of Coghlan.
Right.
Bounces off a defender. Goes inside the 50. Lines up, deserving of a goal. Well, anything but out of bounds on the full.
What a great effort, though. There are some encouraging signs for Richmond. Coghlan and Pettifer, and here's a replay straight at it and straight through. That is a terrific sign.
Carlton out to half back. McKernan flies. Couldn't quite hold the ball. Ball over the top. Edney squeezes it out to Campbell. Throws it out. Here's Duncan Kellaway. Left foot kick, squaring it up. Camperelli has to sit and wait. Bowden takes him to the ground. Look away handball from Fletcher to Doring. Umpire calls the advantage.
Unless it's going to come back.
There's been a blue. The Carlton boys are whacking into a Tiger. Bowden, they got him.
Let it go! Scott down!
Camperelli having far too much to say.
That could be 50.
Oh, it's starting to look like 1973 all over.
That's what they need, though. That's what both sides, really. They're going to get some spirit juices flowing.
Flag is being raised. Let's have a look at it. We've got the isolation camera on Joel Bowden. Through Camperelli to the ground. Bit of a wrestle there.
That was the emergency umpire that paid that, and he indicated over the shoulder.
Gee, but to who?
Well, that is an amazing decision.
That is.
Oh, son. He'd be very unhappy at Channel 9's isolated camera on that one.
You might have to put Hayden Kennedy even with a dicky ankle out there again, I think, after that one. Anyway, Bowden comes in to make it 4 on the trot for the Tigers from 50. Bends it back, but not enough. Point. Inside 50 for the quarter. Richmond 7, Carlton 2. Let's go down to the dock.
Yeah, Justin Murphy, just before that big tangle, Ed, came up very sore on his right knee, which is his reconstruction knee.
Report. Sorry, go on, Doc.
Just limping around in the centre, Ed, and they're just trying to keep him out there, but he doesn't look too good at the moment.
Well, this is telling. Camperelli is the player coming off with blood, and he's had the free kick paid against him. So I wonder what the umpires... And he's been busy. He's been talkative tonight, Camper.
Good on him. Look at those. When the so-called melee. Now, watch Camperelli's left hand.
We've got one in the nose there.
And he just pushes his hand into his face and just tries to squash his nose flat there with the open palm, and an old Gary Lyon favourite. But look, the thing is, when the melee comes in and there's a big bunch of people, no one ever has been hurt in one of those. Just get out and play football once it gets to that.
Hard way to give away a free kick, though. Doring towards half-back. Coghlan came hard, committed to the pack. Hickmott, quick hands away to Murphy, running out of space, back towards the middle. Hickmott, nicely worked. McKay's got the run of it now. The Blues out of trouble, at least for the moment. Kicks them down towards half-forward. Wiggins close to the boundary line with him. Zantuck, out of bounds it goes. Let's go down to Tony Jones. It's all happening.
It certainly is, Dennis, and while that was all happening down in the Richmond goal square, Matty Knight's quietly slipped onto the ground with a bit to prove, you'd reckon.
Good to see him back.
And he's gone straight on to Craig Bradley.
Hasn't seen much of the football tonight, Craig. It's a boundary throw in just outside the attacking 50. McKernan and Hall. Gaspar. Cameron. Not his best effort. Slices it. Out of bounds on the full, about 75 metres from goal. So Lappin will pump it back in. Important time of the game now. The Tigers 7-4. Carlton 4-6. There's the time remaining till half-time. And Lappin, so far, pretty well held. Looks towards the middle. Sets it up. McKernan the target. Works in front. And I think Kellaway may have juggled the mark. Andy Kellaway came back with wonderful courage.
That's the Andrew Kellaway that won an All-Australian Guernsey, and he needs to get back to that form pretty quickly as well.
Zantuck. Along the members' wing they come. Gaspar. Oh, gee, can't pick it up. He had 10 minutes to pick it up, and finally he does. Runs into trouble, runs out of trouble. Handball's back to Zantuck. There was a shot. It's going to turn it over here. Campbell for Carlton was all over it. Now the ball spills out. Ratton missed the target. Greenwich, who's just come on for Camperelli. They lock it up, will bounce, and that was ugly football.
Yeah, once again, that valuable commodity. Once you can run, jump, kick, and keep doing that all day long, the most important ingredient is clean hands. And Aaron Gaspar just coughed it up with his And usage.
Zilla off, and Chris Hyde, the boy from Baruga, in his first game of football, comes on for the Tigers. McKernan gets the tap. That's a free kick to Cranage. Surely. Oh, umpire. Gee whiz. Free kick for out of bounds on the full. But Cranage deserved the free kick there, no doubt about it. Carlton will get the free kick some 25 metres further back, though, for out of bounds on the full.
Just for the moment, some forgettable football and some big names involved. Gaspar, Ratton, making some mistakes.
That was ugly, the Gaspar one.
There's Lappin on the wing, sends it down towards the attacking 50. McKernan in two minds about how he was going to mark that. The ball's gone across the boundary line. It will be Carlton free kick.
Franchina doesn't know.
Franchina will take it.
Oh, me?
No one on the mark.
And the umpire calling him by the surname, if you don't mind. There goes the kick from Franchina. It was against Cameron. Centering ball to Fiora. Almost a spectacular mark. It's going to be a Tiger free. And Gaspar comes up with it. Bit of a lottery. Andy Kellaway feigns a hand pass, some indecision. Comes back towards centre half back, and the mark is taken by Pettifer, who's been very good tonight with 3 goals.
Pettifer brings it out wide to Cameron at half-back flank. Knights leads up the ground. He's ignored. Westfield has no friends down there at Tigerland at the moment. Ray Hall. Thumping kick. Hard one to mark as it floats into the area. Punched away by Livingston. Over the line, out of bounds. Tony Jones.
Well, as Scott Campriali was coming off after that melee, Eddie, with the blood nose, he was clearly yelling out to the umpire, how do you reckon I got the blood nose? So it might be one for our video scrutineers and also the AFL boys on Monday.
All right, throw in. Boundary umpire didn't get much of a purchase on it. Campbell close to the boundary line. Roden helps him out. Franchina gets body slammed. And the umpire was quick on the whistle there, and we'll have a ball up.
I'm not harping on it. This is clearly so below the Brett Ratton we know. He just got pushed off it then, and his ball handling is pretty poor and still languishing on 2 possessions.
McKernan goes up. There he is. Ratton gets it out. Did it beautifully too. So Carlton now have the chance. They have numbers on centre wing. Merrington, who just came on the ground, marks. No one on his mark, so he looks up. Not much on offer, so he thumps it long to the forward 50. Getting back, though, is Gaspar, and he takes the easiest of marks.
Their structure up forward is a mess at times, Carlton.
Newman, opposite back pocket, checks. Looks up the middle. Bad kick either. Tivendale surrounded by teammates. Coughlin storms through the wing, kicks inside the 50. Richardson, can he mark this one at the back? Pettifer. Eccles slid in. A fumble from Livingston. Now he's got a problem. He's been pinged once tonight, not this time. Held to him, says the umpire. And we'll have a bounce about 25 metres out.
Matthew Richardson, a bit like Brett Ratton, having one of those nights at the moment. Just can't seem to get in the right spot at the moment. I can't say he's been in bad form. Hasn't got enough contests.
Sufficient data. Hickmott throws it on the boot. Close to the boundary line. It runs towards it and goes out. Just over 7.5 minutes to half-time. 46 plays 30. So Richmond passed in this term, have kicked back strongly.
It's become 16th versus 14th in the last 5 minutes, though.
Yeah, that's for sure.
7.5 minutes to go. The Tigers have kicked the last 3. Throw in. Hall puts the big paw out, drags it in. Inside 50 it goes. Ottens crashes through. McKay close to the boundary line, looking for it.
That could be construed as a free kick. He's blown the whistle and then slung to the ground, but common sense prevails.
Throw in. Andrew McKay, who's done pretty well against the Tigers. He has polled Brownlow votes in 3 of their last 5 games. Ottens from behind. Brings it down. That's During. To Murphy. Around the corner. Up towards the half-forward flank position for the Tigers, though. It's picked up by Cameron. Gets it working. Now the Tigers through Kellaway. Up towards full forward. Pushed out of the contest was Pettifer. He goes back into it again. Tivendale, Campbell. Out it comes to Bowden on his left foot. It is a beauty. And the kick 4 on the trot. That's his second.
Season now for Joel Bowden. 4, 4 and 4. That's the sequence. Tigers, Blues and Tigers again in this game for goals. Cranage had it, lost it. Knight socked the ball away. Strong tackle, got hauled down. It was at Coghlan. Doesn't matter, didn't go anywhere. Franchina, Merrington on his knees. Knights, well done. Taken high, will get the free kick, and the crowd love it.
Well, a lot of people say he's an outside player, and he has been for most of his career, but that was quite brilliant the way he ran through the traffic then and intercepted the ball.
Listen to that roar. Knights goes down looking for Richardson. And what's he done? He just let the ball run on there. Newman in the pocket. Got it from Campbell, pulled back towards full forward, off hands, loose ball, Bowden dragged down in a strong tackle, and we'll have a ball up. Well, Richo,
quite extraordinary.
A fit of Peak on the lead, not Brian.
Standing with his hands on his hips, he looked like Achilles Jones out of In the Big Men Fly.
What's this?
And he gave up on it all.
He gave up, he just became petulant. He actually cursed
before it got there.
Before it got to him.
Amazing.
I've never seen that.
Gee whiz.
Wow.
Like Achilles Jones, the man who could stab past wheat bales and sacks of wheat, and then he gave up, sat there in the middle of the ground in Alan Hopkins' play. He gave up on it. Well, he's back in the action now, Richo. Here he goes, across the front of the pack. Now he went to the back. Hickmont flicks it out to McKay, who squeezes it along the boundary line.
Ed, it begs the question, I mean, should the coach take him off the ground?
You'd have to for that.
I don't think I've seen one like that.
I've never seen
Let's
it.
have a look at it again. He actually swears before. Ready, right, there.
That is extraordinary. No, you shouldn't really laugh at it. It is extraordinary.
Well, you'd cry if you didn't laugh, damn it.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Well, there you go. That is a beauty.
I thought there was a whistle on play.
Yeah.
I thought
he's done a hammy. That's what I thought too.
Well, he might have. He might have. Do you reckon?
No, he wandered off, and I watched him. He stood outside 50 with his hands on his hips while the ball just pinched it out of bounds.
Could have strained his larynx.
How do you reckon Matthew Knights would be feeling? He's just back, he's got a roar from the crowd, and he's copped the bake off his mate.
It was a terrible kick.
It was an ordinary kid. It wasn't too flash, but yeah.
Wasn't deserving of that type of behaviour, but I'm still watching him, and he's there as if to say, oh, you blokes, I'm not going to try if you're not going to kick it to me.
Tony Jones is on the boundary line.
Well, the runner went out, Ed, and great expectations, but he didn't go anywhere near Matty Richardson.
All right.
Hang on, there's one coming out again.
Keep an eye on it, Tone. In the meantime, Crenage for Carlton tries to get his foot on the ball. Franchina's there as well. Now Ratton getting amongst it. That's almost a high tackle on Knights. Play on again, calls the umpire. Spills out to Bradley. Bradley's kick is dangerous into the middle of the ground. There's plenty of Tigers there lurking, but Livingston was good enough to get it out to Houlihan. And the Blues a chance to get away. Houlihan will have to go again.
Good follow-up.
Did well after the fumble from Campbell. Shocking kick, though. Straight to Andy Kellaway. He chips it out wide. Pettiford leads in the race. Unkind bounce initially. Came back to him, though. Played it pretty well. Well, he crawls away on his knees. Slips a hand past to Cameron. Cameron on the overlapper. Centering kick. Goes towards Richardson. Was out of position that time. Beaten by Beaumont.
You've got to slug Jordan this one. You've got to get the boy off. You can't leave him on if he's just going to spit the dummy and say it's all you guys, your fault.
Campbell got it to Murphy, who's paid the mark. What an amazing story.
He's out of sorts, the boy.
Yep.
He wears his heart on his sleeve, you've got to say that. There were shades of it last week. I watched the game against Geelong. Here's Cranage.
It's all between the ears at the moment for Matty, because he could do anything out there if he wants to.
Kicks it down towards the 50. Well, people keep telling him he can. McKernan told much the same thing in his prime. Got the ball away. Down went Zantac. He shinned it only as far as this man Wiggins, and Wiggins gets the goal. His second.
Have his nose fixed up again. Boys, Gary, you said against the run of play, Wiggins kicked that goal to make the difference 16 points. And it's incredible that Richmond had kicked 4 on the trot to go to a 22-point lead with all the momentum, yet we were talking about heads being dropped, arms on hips, all that type of thing. And you would have thought that conceded the last 4 goals.
It's just off one player, really. I mean, the rest of the Richmond side have been terrific.
Yeah, but what a play. It's his 150th game. He's a man who sparks the sun.
Hey, Ed, I'm still shaking my head like you're shaking your head. It was extraordinary, but it's not good.
Sam Newman's got plenty to say. We'll hear from him at half-time.
I can hear him.
Charging in is Rogers. Taken high was Merrington.
He was on in the press box with Sam and Craig Skeenan earlier tonight too. We'll discuss that at half-time.
Sam's theory is that he wouldn't try either if they're not going to kick it to him properly.
Both would have gone harder than Matty Richardson as the kick comes inside the 50 and Lappin on the lead. What a wonderful kick. Hickmont involved in these last couple of moves, and Lappin's got it. 3 minutes to go to half-time. 16 points the margin. The Blues looking for a late rally. High centering kick. McKernan works into the contest. Ratton off hands. Slick hand pass. Hickmott grabs it. Does it himself. His first.
Now, the thing with Brett Ratton there is he actually gave off a bullet handball from about 1 metre away, but the fact is he was able to get hands on the ball, and he hasn't been able to do that all night. His ability to get the ball super close to the pack. Look at that, he's less than 1 metre away. He bullets it into his head, but still he's got it away from the original zone, only by 1 metre or so. First hands on, he's invaluable if he can do that. He's only had 4 possessions though, he needs more.
And at half-time, Sam Newman will be speaking to Richmond President Clinton Casey, so interesting to hear what Clinton has to say about one of his star players who's coming out of contract soon. Back in the centre of the ground, suddenly we're back to 10 points, and if the...
Straightnor's back! Well, the thing about
the umpires called the free kick going Carlton's way.
Since that Richardson thing, incident, for want of a better term, Rogers has given away a stupid free kick and now Hyde.
Bradley goes behind his teammate, but good enough to do it was Blake Campbell. Left foot kick inside the 50. Lance Whitnell's there. Hickman will go hard as he always does. So does that bloke. Duncan Callaway, but it spills to the mercurial Houlihan, who on this occasion finds the boundary line throw in 51 metres out. Well, if it goes on the sequencing so far, it's been 4 on the trot for Richmond, then 4 answered goals by Carlton, 4 to Richmond and now 2 to the Blues. So they might get the next 2 just to keep it going.
Ex-president?
Neville Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, Russell. Well, he's got the film star looks, Nev. There's no doubt about that. Now working in the marketing department of Tigerland. And he hates Carlton because he missed out on a premiership because big John Nichols took a dive in the 1967 semi-final.
It was well done by Corey. Couldn't get to it there, but he had to make someone like Gasper think, gee, Corey's coming here and he's going to crash a body or 2.
So big number 2 involved in the action right there. Speaking of Big Nick, there's Callaway. Feeds it back and they'll work it away nicely. Left half back, it's Newman towards the wing. On his knees, Ottens. Brad Ottens. 3 goals in the game. Sets it up for Richardson. Coming back is Whitnell. Richardson got the crumb off the Whitnell hand. Took a long time, was dragged down. No whistle. And we'll have a ball up.
See, that's how Matthew Richardson could hurt himself. He stands up in tackles when he could really dish off a handball and tries to get boot the ball.
I think he might have hurt himself here. He got up holding his thumb or his finger there. Gary, we'll just have a look in a minute.
He is slow hand to foot.
Meanwhile, back at the action. Down goes Campbell. Ball spills out. Hand pass comes across. They're working it on that 50. Rogers, the last man in the chain, got it from Duncan Callaway and went nowhere inside the last minute of the term. Just watching Richo as he goes back to the square. He seems to be okay. It'd be nice to be a fly on the wall in the Tigers' room at half-time. There's the bounce meantime on the 50. Hall finds it. Kicks off his step. It floats down towards Richardson. Let it bounce in front. He's camped over the football once again. Tackled by a couple of Blues. Wiggins put the body in. That ball bounces around like a pinball machine. Ratton tries to dig it out. Close to the boundary line. Dragged down. It was Tawney, was it?
Bowden, I think.
Bowden, yeah.
He's been very good, Joel Bowden. They've had to put Andrew McKay onto him because of the influence he's been able to have in this game.
Pettifer was the man who was dragged down and Bowden got the kick away. Pretty scrambly stuff approaching half-time.
Bit of space up the middle, but Murphy will elect to go out wide. Bit of safety late in the quarter.
Late in the quarter, don't want to concede anything. Merrington got to the front of the pack, and that's what a good man does. Good big man. Merrington out wide to Hickmott, was pushed under the ball by Tawney. Back on the ground, obviously. Gasper kicks it long. Just sticks inside the boundary line there, and Pettifer takes the mark, and the Blues kick the last 2 of the second quarter to get back within 10 points. Now it's 11 points at half-time, and we have got a great game building between these 2 traditional enemies. Carlton 6-6-42, Richmond 8-5-53.
Scott Camperelli's still going with the umpire down there at ground level. He's had long words with him, and he's not happy. He's not a happy man.
And Richo, let's just have a look at him there. He's talking to the umpires, flexing that left hand. I thought he might have just jarred his finger. And Bowden over there having a few words to him as well. It's the Tigers by 11 points at half-time. Sam Newman with Clinton Casey, the president of the Tigers, during the break. We'll be back with more right after this. This is AFL on 9.
This is how you remind me of what I really am. This is how you remind me of what I really am. It's not like you to say sorry. I was waiting on a different story. This time I'm mistaken for having you alone. Breaking and I've been wrong.
Tuesday, unmissable drama on 9. Experience the blockbuster series that's taking Australia by storm.
What's the matter, Ken? A little too hot for you?
7:30 Smallville.
A scuffle. More on that on the Footy Show on Thursday night. A special guest tonight is the Richmond president, Clinton Casey, Sam Newman, to ask the question.
Why would anyone follow the Tigers?
Well, it's a lifelong ambition for most people, Sam, I would have
They've been
thought.
spectacularly unsuccessful in the last 20 years. What are we going to do about it?
Well, the last 5 weeks haven't been too good, but we thought we
Shocking.
finished off last season okay, and we started all right in the Wizard Cup too. But you know, with our season really, is pretty much over. But we're going to look at the rest of the season as a bit of a pre-season for next year. Give some of the young kids a bit of a run.
2 finals appearances in 20 years, and in that time you've changed the coach 10 times. Can the club survive with this sort of rampant, sort of out of control, headlong confusion?
Well, I'd like to think that through this period we're going to get some credibility, Sam. I mean, what we really need to do is to stick tight when things get tough and not go through what we have in the past. And we think we've got the team to do that. And
Do you?
We do.
Well,
And-
how would you possibly say that?
Well, as I said, last year was a great indication that the team was on the right track. The wheels are falling off a little bit this year.
indication, Clinton, because
We
we're
finished
seeing the
third last year.
indication of it today.
Well, I think today is a great look at some of the younger players. Some of Edney, the Pettifers, Coglins. I think they're the future Rodens of where we're going. And between now and the end of the season, you'll see these kids get a bit more game time, and hopefully we'll see what they've got in the tank, and therefore we'll know what we need to do this year with our recruiting and our trading.
Well, what about you? Are you responsible for anything down there? You're the boss. What's going on?
The buck stops with me, but we're all in this together. And that's the important thing, the message that we want to send out. We're all in this together. There's no one person. It's not Danny Frawley, and it's not the match committee. It's not that we're all together in this, and we're going to get out of this together. And when we do, we'll be better for it.
Right, we can't win games. We're not recruiting well. I suppose you've made a profit. Your membership may be marginally up. Something's going right, but I tell you what, we're teetering, surely. Teetering just on the brink of survival.
Well, I don't think recruiting's been that bad, and membership is up, and we are making a profit. And not only that, but I think we'll make a record profit. We've just raised $1 million in the Jack Dyer Foundation. I know that pales into insignificance when we're not putting it on the track.
What
and
is
that's
your
important.
measure of success, incidentally?
Well, we want to win a flag. We want to win a premiership. We want to put a bit of silver in the cupboard, just like every other side in the competition.
Can any of us last long enough? The fans are frustrated. I'm frustrated just watching you play. You're playing awful.
We put together a 5-year plan, and I've got to say that apart from the last 5 weeks, we thought we were pretty well on track. But we need to do a bit of soul searching and make sure that between here and the end of the season we get it right.
Bottom 3, 8 out of the last 20 years. That's hardly given the fans what they want in Clinton. Could we do something shortly?
Absolutely, Sam.
Thank you very much, Clinton.
Pleasure.
Casey, the president of the Richmond Football Club. What a man.
Thank you, Sam. President Clinton, exactly, joining us at half-time. And, well, the Prez, he's as keen as all of us to see what Richo does in the second half. The Tigers do lead by 11 points. More after the break. Well, welcome back to the MCG. Just about ready to go in the third term. Richmond lead by 11 points. Quickly, Dr. Peter Larkins on the boundary line.
Yeah, just some good news from both sides there. Brendan Favola and Jason Tawney both starting the second half. In fact, they're both moving towards the goal square, so they may even be playing on each other. Certainly, Tawney, the more suspect one, still not full strength in his right shoulder.
And how's Hayden Kennedy, by the way, the umpy?
Yeah, he's not going to be any good for the rest of the night. Eddie's got a torn ligament in the bottom of his foot and maybe out for a couple of weeks, unfortunately.
Umpire Quigley then to bounce it down to begin the second half. On the way down, Merrington touched the footy, charging in was Egmont. Tackled by Zilla and another ball up.
You get the feeling, Dennis, with Lance Whitnell closest to camera here, came in off the edge of the centre square. He might play that role where he plays a floating half forward, drifting into the back line to assist his backman against the two big key Richmond forwards.
Another bounce, one down by Merrington. Ratton keen to get in the game, no doubt. Bradley goes off the deck towards half forward. Awkward one for Murphy. Tivendale sockers it out towards the boundary. And out it goes. Margin 11 points. The Tigers led by 4 points at quarter time after they booted the opening 4 goals. Carlton came back with the next 4. Took the lead midway through the second term, but Richmond got on top again. Hall works his way in front. Camporelli claimed him. Hickmott quick hands away to Bradley, pulls it back towards the middle. Chance for Favola. During 45 metres out. Good looking effort. Oh, well done McKernan too. Goal.
It's a terrific effort. It's a beautiful finish on his left foot. He actually has been an interesting player, Jordan Doring. Been on and off the rookie list a couple of times now, so they obviously think highly enough of him. He started on Coghlan and was running with him in the middle of the ground, but it was a lovely finish and just the start that Carlton needed. I think they've now kicked 3 in a row, which continues on that pattern, that well-established pattern, Ed.
The sequence of 4, 4, 4 and now 3 in a row. That's goals for both sides.
I think Whitnell on the bottom of screen there, he's going to try and drag Gasper out of the back line. With Favola on now, he'll take that other key forward spot.
So the Blues get within 5 points early in the third term. Roden out to Kellaway. Duncan Kellaway's kick inside the forward 50. At the back of the pack was Wiggins there. Did it nicely. Good control. Kicks it out. Looking for Bradley. Looking for one in the back and got it.
Milked it beautifully. 45 years of experience there.
What a champion he's been. Craig Bradley, 38 years of age. Game number 370 tonight. Short kick to McKay. So McKay on half-back flank. Blues haven't panicked at any stage tonight. They're counter-punching beautifully. Trailing by just the 5 points, as you can see, 18 minutes ago in the third term. Hall takes the mark at halfback for the Tigers. Ottens wants it up in the air, so he gets it. Ottens now sets himself, comes into play, flies for the mark. Good play by Wiggins, got in front of him. McKay, grab from behind. Fiora for the Tigers. The ball spills out. That was Campbell who got the handball away. Now the Blues again at half-forward flank, over the top. Zantuck couldn't control the ball. Houlihan tried to push off. Good play by Cameron, got the ball working. Edney over the top of it for the Tigers. Fights his teammate, but he gets it out. Sweeping handball, finds Hall. Another left foot kick. Looking again for Ottens, who flies. 3 Carlton men push it away, thump it away. Fiora, McKay, grabbed to the ground. Pettifer now, he's grabbed to the ground. It's tough in the clinches at the moment. Carlton and Richmond doing what they do best, belting the hell out of each other. And the ball spills again to Campbell.
Nice hand pass to During. He got the opening goal in this term. Kicks it down towards half forward. Favola gathered the half volley brilliantly. Hooks it back across the body. McKernan. He's marked 25 metres out directly in front.
Oh, there's a throw down going in the centre of the square, and it's against Stephen Ziller. He just threw Adrian Hickmott down, and that was in the centre of the square, so it's got to be 50 metres further down the ground.
And Corey McKernan will kick his third, and really the most, in fact, he's one in each of the quarters it'll be, and it'll be 4 in actual fact. And it was the way he read it. It was the way he came to the footy, which was the most encouraging thing. I think it's his third.
He's got
it. So the Blues back in front by 1 point. Sorry, Gary, I gave you the wrong mail there. That was his third goal from point-blank range. And the sequence continues. 4 goals on the trot now for Carlton, and they're back in front. They go forward. They might just make it 5 here. Murphy keeps his feet. Ziller over the top, did well for the Tigers. Throws it out. It's still a live ball here. Ratton's in amongst it, so too Camporelli. Campbell, the captain of the Tigers. It's hard in there at the moment, hard men required, so Hickmott puts his hand up, locks it in, will have a bounce, 50 metres out directly in front of the Carlton goal.
He's definitely given them something up forward, Adrian Hickmott. Pettifer's just run him around down the other end of the ground, but he's given them a little bit of steel and containing the ball inside the forward line with a bit of grit.
55 out. Carlton by a point over the Tigers. Hall gets the tap. It comes to Cameron. Cameron kicks it up towards the half-forward flank position. Plenty of Blues there. Franchina had the rubber guts. It comes out the back, though, to Merrington. Merrington's kick was a beauty. Houlihan at half-forward flank.
About 80 metres from goal. Kicks inside the 50. Ill-directed, though Hall missed it. Loose ball at the back. Taken by Tivendale. Somehow got through. Sends play back towards the wing, as you can see. Plenty of Carlton players there. And Merrington the fumble. And it's gone out of bounds.
Tonight's question in the Herald Sun footy trivia competition is: name the 1969 Premiership player to have since had 3 sons on AFL lists. Entry coupons are on every Friday's edition of the Herald Sun. Name the 1969 Premiership player to have since had 3 sons on AFL lists.
Ball forward of the pack after the boundary throw in. A whistle and the free kick is going Merrington's way belatedly. He did seem to be tackled as the ball was tossed in. Very athletic big man. Shocking kick though. Touched on the mark. Roden took a while. Could have been tackled high by Franchino. Campbell got a hand pass away. Off his step, it's floated up towards the wing, reaching over the top. It's thumped towards the boundary line by Campbell and will be tossed in.
Gary, I get the feeling that at half-time Wayne Britton might have said this must be the most physical, taxing, on the body of the opposition quarter you've played all year. Lay tackles whenever possible.
After the boundary throw in, McKay tied up.
That man there is often the barometer in terms of that particular part of the play. He and Hickmott set the scene for the Blues, and he's a leader. He did a lot of the talking straight after half-time. Wayne Campbell, as always, getting plenty of the footy. Hickmott, interesting game. Conceded a few goals, set a couple up.
Shepherding, and the free kick I think will go to Whitnell. Or will it? I've got no idea. Neither of the players. Eventually, it's going to be Fletcher's ball, I think. He played on immediately. Gave it to McKay, who kicks down towards half forward, standing his ground and doing very well was Camporelli.
Camporelli certainly getting a workout on the snoz tonight. Been off a couple of times for the blood rule. Zilla just giving it a bit of a tweak. He kicks to the forward pocket. McKernan does it beautifully.
That's clever. It's not a free kick, that one either. People will say he's pushed him in the back, gets him in the side, and as long as you don't give a dirty big one-rap push, if you just take up the slack and then just give them the nudge forward, and he's just helped him under the ball there, that's just a bigger man.
And you know what else, Doom, is the kick. The kick
beautiful.
was an absolute beauty. Just to the favoured side of McKernan, gave him every opportunity.
Big kick for Corey McKernan. The Blues lead by 1 point. He has kicked 3 goals, 1 for the night. Beautiful shot right behind McKernan, kicking to the punt road end, and Corey buries the goal. Blues by 7.
Adam Gilchrist wagon wheel that. Darting in there is Merrington. He's got it. Immediately taken down by Ottens, who got him, and another ball up alongside the centre circle.
Corey McKernan, that was his 4th mark inside 50, and although Richmond came out at the start of the game and absolutely pumped Carlton, I can't remember the last time they took a mark inside their own forward 50.
So what a test for the Tigers. Ottens won it down. Campbell had it smothered by Ratton, and again we'll have a ball up.
It is. It's the ultimate test. They have got themselves into a position and situation a couple of times and let it slip, and it's now whether or not they've got the heart to fight back.
That's right. All week they've talked the talk. Now they've got to walk the walk as the ball spills wide. This is Coughlin. Coughlin drives them down towards half forward. It pitches just outside the 50. Richardson worked off the ball too easily. Wiggins to During. Comes back to the middle. Merrington. Time to recover. Kicks down towards centre half forward. The Tigers need to hold. Favola got up, couldn't hang on. Cameron's hand pass away. Fiora arches the back and slips away. Across half-back, looping handball. Campbell back to Fiora. Took a while. Kicks it well. That was a lovely finish. On the outer side, Coughlin runs to the wing, goes towards half-forward. Richardson, finally, on his chest. He's about 65 metres out. Mixed reaction. A centering kick. Ottens is the target. Uncontested.
Well, this is it's so simple and basic, is they've got to get some more run through the midfield and get it to a stage where they can kick it in the general vicinity. And finally Richo presents and the kick's okay. But again, the kick in here, look, this kick to Brad Ottens is not great. It's just up in the air. and in his area and just let him do the rest. So they've got to get some runners up. They've got to get through the line. They struggled to get through the middle of the ground and get it in deep enough to Brad Ottens. And if they can do that, there's still a chance. Carlton have been terrific in this first 10, 12 minutes.
Richardson's first mark led to Otten's fourth. He'll kick it goal from directly in front. From 45 metres out. Lovely. Straight through the middle, he's got 4.
It was unbelievable. This car pulled out right in front of him.
Big, and you should have seen the look on his face. The car has gone up on 2 wheels. There's a set of shops, and he's heading straight for it.
Right through this window.
So a point the difference. Carlton lead Richmond, and finally Ottens and Richardson combining with consecutive marks. Ottens goes up, down to Knights. Wrapped up, ball up. So the Blues rattled on 5 goals from the 24.5-minute mark of the second term to the 9-minute mark of the third term, ended by Otten's goal. Point the difference.
Off the ball, Zilla against Camporelli. I tell you what, Scott Camporelli has got them in as much as they've got him in, if you like. He has milked free kicks out of the Tigers.
Second free kick against Zilla this quarter, off the ball.
Camporelli kicks long, punch from behind by Cameron of Richmond. Fall of the ball, the rover is Ottens on this occasion. He just got the handball away to Fiora. Here's Newman. Nice handball over the top to Coughlin. Needs to get it away and does. The kick is out towards Richardson. Needs to present himself. Needs to go hard here. 3-on-1. Richo in amongst it. Shepherded away. Lappin's kick was a good one to centre wing, and the mark's been taken by Favola. Had his injury problems tonight, Brendan Favola. His third possession coming up on centre wing outer side. Squares it up to Lappin. Thumps it long. McKernan comes with a burst. Crunches the pack, opens it up, gives his teammates on the ground a chance. Tawney squeezes it away, not out of the danger zone yet. Campbell gives it up, here's a chance. Bradley waits, Fletcher, open goal. Fletcher kicks and punishes the Tigers. His first, Carlton by 7 points.
The dancing feet, he gets an extra 5 seconds as part of his senior citizens discount. Here's the ball back in the middle. Merrington beaten by Ottens. Knights in the thick of things, going nowhere, smothered off the boot. Socket forward by Camporelli. Tawney dragged down, moved the ball though. Down towards half forward. McKay did nicely. Murphy. Bradley again, accelerates away. Kicks it down towards half forward. Too much carry on the kick for Houlihan in front. Cameron goes back and takes the mark.
McKay's just put the clamps on Joel Bowden, which has been important.
Cameron needs to get it there quickly. It arrives just in time. Duncan Kellaway. There's no other way. Goes back strongly. Tawney hurt early. Kicks inside the 50. Where's the big fellow? Through his arms. Richo. Beaumont fell on top of it. 2 teammates fall on top of him. There is a Tiger in there as well. We'll have a ball up.
A free kick off the ball was Camporelli and Zilla. And I'm not sure about the contact.
Coming straight out?
No, it's this one there. Yeah, no doubt about that one. That was a free kick.
Bucks go at it again. Richardson knocks it goal side. Taken high was Bowden. How will it bounce? Camporelli gets back. No free kick. No free kick.
Yes. Gentlemen,
let's have a look at it. That's a free kick, in my eyes.
I'm not so sure.
No.
Anything short of murder was never a free kick for them. 2 goals, 3 to Bowden. Now it's McKay who brings the ball to half forward. Thumped away from Favola. Knights does it well. In and out of trouble. Cameron. Here they go, the Tigers. They've got plenty of space. Zilla goes short and hits the target. And Campbell, the captain, will line up from 50.
He is in beautiful form. Off the boot as well, kicking with set shots at goal. This might just test him. He'll have to cover about 51, 52 to the line, and then the extra distance required to get over.
12 goals, 5 for the year. Tends to give it plenty of air. Makes the ball spin quickly through the air. So he'll need to really connect on this one. 19th possession. He's had 6 clearances for the night, the skipper, Wayne Campbell. This to tie it up at 66 apiece. He comes in. Gives it plenty. It won't make the distance. It does make the distance, but just offline and through for 1 behind. So we've got a 5-point ball game. Carlton a 10-6-66. Richmond a 9-7-61. We've played 17 minutes with 7.5 minutes left in the third term.
As Ed mentioned, 19 possessions tonight for Wayne Campbell. Just 9 last week. Season's high 37 against Melbourne. Round 3. Pettifer did well. Went back with the flight of it.
More than gutsy, Dennis.
It's terrific, wasn't it?
I meant the kick at the start. Well, that's a gutsy effort to kick it between those two blokes in the zone.
Taking a big step forward at the moment, Kane Pettifer, and would fancy himself from here.
Courageous mark, sharp angle. And 10 metres in from the line. This is to the near side. Camporelli to do it again.
You have a look at the Richmond zone in place from behind. Camporelli's kick in there, and he's trying to will it further. But the Carlton zone, the guys out there, there's not much movement from them. See, they're all pretty stagnant.
You can go forward if you want, Mark.
Kept his nerve, got it to Murphy. McKay feeds it wide. Bradley, right half back, up towards the wing. Lappin out of sorts tonight. Newman did well, quick hands. Likewise, Knights. Tivendale kicks inside the 50. And they're caught on the rebound. This is Bowden.
It's one of the vagaries of the zone. Of course, you go and assume a position, and then once the play unfolds and you go searching for your man, you may necessarily leave someone unattended, as is the case of Joel Bowden. Andrew McKay was probably in a position out amongst the zone, and Bowden just sat back. I mean,
he actually laid the tackle on the Richmond boy out there, but yeah, the breakdown was Craig Bradley's kick.
Going in his third goal. They trail by 4 points. What's he done? He's missed.
They've got the yips again.
They're wasting some opportunities here now, the Tigers. It's booted 4 points. Joel Bowden, 2-4 for the night.
Have a look at this, the way they're set up. There is no Carlton player short and wide, which is your safety kick if something breaks down. They're all 30 to 40 metres away, and it's trying to put the thread through the eye of the needle.
Kicked the last 4 scores. There's almost a try attempt there from Pettifer. The last 4 scores have been behinds. Richmond have had some opportunities, and as Dennis mentioned, 2 goals for to Joel Bowden. We've got a ball up. They've held it in the forward 50.
They must have one short to either side, just for a safety if the umpire does the triple whistle and say hurry up.
Ticking down to 5.5 minutes to go in this vital third term. McKay for Carlton. Fletcher flicks it out wide. Livingston along the boundary line. Good bounce for Whitnell. Hasn't done much tonight. Knights hard at the ball. Duncan Kellaway. Smother from Ratton.
Well, the fact that Lance Whitnell has been very quiet, Eddie has allowed Danny Frawley to move Gasper onto McKernan, who's been the most damaging forward, and Kellaway now goes over to Whitnell.
So throw in close enough to centre wing. Ottens from behind, grabs it out of the ruck. Didn't get enough on it. It comes down to Newman. Kick around the body to Knights. Knights now, 55 out, chips it around the corner to Bowden again. Thought about running on. He will line up from just 35 metres out on a slight angle. He needs to kick his third goal, and if he does, the Tigers will be back in front by 3 points.
And that's the case for Matthew Knights. There's been fair arguments mounted against him throughout the past couple of weeks, but that's the case for. He might not get it 30 times as he used to, but he gets pretty good value for them when he does. He's just had the 5 touches tonight, spent a lot of time on the bench, but generally he gets pretty good value for them.
A vital kick for the psyche of this club. Their last 4 shots have been behinds. He needs to kick this goal.
I tell you what, that is so disappointing from someone who's as skilled as Joel Bowden. I mean, he poked at that. He's a magnificent kicker of football, and look, that's probably indicative of where they are as a footy club.
2 goals, 5, Joel Bowden. Richmond's last 5 scoring shots behinds.
Camporelli kicks in, intended for Whitnell, off his fingertips. Gaspar goes after it, spills behind. Campbell, quick hands away, knocked forward by Newman. In the opposite direction, though, Franchina close to the boundary line, content to take it out as we go down to Tony Jones.
I don't want to make excuses for Joel Bowden, but that wind has picked up considerably and would have been blowing straight into his face over those last couple of kicks.
It sounds like an excuse to me, Tom.
Want to be Cyclone Tracy.
I want you on my side, TJ. Tossed in. At the umpire.
Once again, Carlton's kicking is just ineffectual. It's just a long kick to Lance Whitnell outside 50. He had 3 to contend with. There's the wind. And that's a bit of a Wesley in it. It'll be going straight from the Richmond goals to the Carlton goals.
As far as TJ is concerned, Joel Bowden's check is in the mail. There's the bounce. Ottens goes up, flicks it down behind. Campbell going nowhere. Both the Campbells on a collision course there. Comes across the gas bar. Shrugged a couple of tackles. Well done. Got away. Kicks inside the 50. Just wide of the intended man. Tivendale. Richardson shrugs off an opponent. Pulls it back towards the kickoff line. Plenty of Tigers down there. Knocked forward. Ratton in trouble. Got a hand pass away to Whitnell. The danger is past. Livingston runs it out towards the 50. Took a while. That's because there was nobody on. Andy Kellaway sends it back inside the 50. Needs a mark from Whitnell, and he obliges. Great judgment.
Yeah, Livingston, probably the better option would have been to Brett Thornton, not by hands rather than give it up.
Well, Whitnell's turned it over, or has he? No. Good hands there by that man Thornton. He got it out to Bradley. Bradley's kick to Favola, who's happy to take it to the boundary line. With 3 minutes on the clock, it's Carlton leading by 2 points. The Blues haven't won in 11 games. They've lost the last 10. Richmond have lost the last 5, and both sides, seemingly at the moment, don't know how to win tonight. A 2-point ball game. Throw in Wiggins. Lappin. Murphy. Lines it up and hits the target. Fletcher. 70 metres out. Inside 50 he goes with a kick to Favola. Now this bloke can do anything.
Well, so often you see a side dominate for periods of a game and not be able to score a goal, as Richmond have, only to see the footy go up the other end of the ground, and on the very first opportunity have one kicked against them.
Kicked a lot of goals at Carlton from this pocket, which is in front of the Carlton Social Club. Won't get the same reception out there at the punt road end, but he knows this angle.
10 goals, 10 for the season, and he stays on 10 goals, 10.
Clean miss of everything.
So 66-64, score remains the same. We've played nearly 25 minutes in this all-important third term with just a tick over 2 minutes left on the clock. Still time for scores, no doubt about it. And the mark has been taken by Chris Newman, his 10th possession coming up.
From half-back up towards half-forward. Here comes Richardson again, not in the contest. Knocked towards the boundary by Fletcher. Taken across by Franchina.
Did set up for a fierce last quarter. I mean, so much at stake. It's going to be pretty tight. I don't think they'll leave much out on the park.
Carlton by 2 points. Tossed in. McKernan interfered with. He'll get the free kick. He's done that repeatedly tonight. He's worked for front spot.
Bradley's peeled off.
Off his step, goes to Bradley. The two veterans, and Knights picked his pocket. Chance for Matty Knight. Slips the hand pass away. Brilliant. Pettifer, 30 metres out, kicks the goal. Thwarted Pettifer. And they come from everywhere for Matthew Knights.
Great effort by Matthew Knights. Kane Pettifer with his 4th goal to put the Tigers back in front. Fantastic effort for the Tiger veteran. More than likely in his last season. It looked like his career might have been over last week, but he's back in town tonight. And so too are the Tigers. They ended a run of 5 behinds to kick their 10th goal. And they lead by 4 points with 1:25 on the clock.
Backing straight out.
4 goals to 2, Carlton's favour in the third term, but Richmond back in front. We're set for a cracker in the final term. In goes Ratton. Kellaway just as desperate. They lock it up. We'll have another bounce.
Matthew Knights on to Craig Bradley, who's had quite an influence. Bradley, out of respect to Knights, took him straight to the goal square. Knights was effectively playing the back pocket, now working his way back into the middle of the ground.
Going in for this bounce. From behind, Bowden gives it a thump. Knights just patrolling on the outside of the pack. McKay inside, as you'd expect, but it spills out to Gasper. Gasper kicks long. Richardson and Ottens, they're in the square, but good play by Livingston, who got back and took a vital mark with 55 seconds left on the clock.
To McKay. Still ample time for a score either way. McKay off his step to centre half back. Campbell. Clock continues to run. We're down to 20 seconds. Tigers by 4 points. Their lead was 11. at half-time and 4 at quarter-time. That sort of game. McKernan the target, worked under the ball. Lappin gathered it on the ground. Zilla did well, got it to Wattens, kicks to half forward. We're down to 3 seconds. Campbell doesn't know that. Wait for the siren. That kick to no avail. And Richo can't believe his bad luck. It's been that sort of night, hasn't it?
Hasn't enjoyed it, Matty Richardson. He's only had the 5 possessions and the 1 mark.
His 150th game, but we're in for an absolute belter of a final term. Carlton hoping to end a run of 10 consecutive losses. Richmond are at 5. It's 10-6-66. The Tigers by 4 points. 10-10-70 when we return right after this.
See.
Come on, So living it up, Let me find out. To everybody that be living it up, we say what I do. And all my ladies that be giving it up, what you do. To everybody that be living it up, we say what do I do. And all my ladies that be giving it up.
Welcome back, and Carlton against Richmond, the old foes. It's Richmond by 4 points. That goal to Kane Pettifer from Matthew Knight's giving them the lead. Let's go down to Tony Jones. He's with Sticks Kernahan.
Yes, thanks very much, Eddie. Well, Steve, it's been 11 weeks since you've had a win. Do they remember how to win?
Let's hope so, Tony. You know, both sides had their chance. It's going to go right at the end, isn't it?
Yeah, Corey McKernan's done a great job for you tonight.
He's been great. We sort of need him in both places at the moment, forward and in the ruck, so he's been great.
Tackling's been pretty ferocious. We can expect more of that, can we?
Well, you'd expect that tonight, wouldn't you?
Yeah, all right, you're over that way, Steve. Good on you, Steve Kernahan joining us, Ed.
Thanks very much, Tony. Let's have a look at the score track for the Tigers. Gary, let's go through it.
Well, the significant thing here, Eddie, is probably the misses. If you have a look at the time lapse down the bottom there, they've kicked a couple of goals from pretty well in front, but it's this period here where they just strung so many points together, and from spots on the ground too that they really should have scored. So that's the thing that might come back to haunt them at the end of the day. They certainly had plenty of opportunity in that third quarter.
There's 4 there. There was actually another one which was the computers put down as a rush behind. It was the one that bowed and kicked around the corner and was knocked through for a behind by Camporelli. So I had him down for 5 behind, so he could have kicked 5 goals if you like, but we'll give him 2 goals for the night. Right, let's get stuck into it. It's the Tigers by 4 points. The Doyen Dennis Committee.
Start of the final term, Friday night football, opening bounce. Rucks go at it. Ottens crashed into. Favoured by the bad bounce, if that makes sense. And he's got the free kick alongside the centre circle, wasting no time. Kicks towards half-foot. Well-weighted kick to Campbell. Sliding in behind the defence, about 60 metres out. Richardson goes back long to the square. Campbell in 2 minds. Well, why not go to Richardson?
Against Richardson, he's paid it against for slinging Beaumont out of the road to try and make a lead.
Well, you have to say Richardson proving something of a liability so far tonight. Maybe he can redeem himself. Campbell, meantime, kicks to half forward for the Blues. This is Newman. Gathered the crumb. Kicks towards the outer side wing. Knights, who was heroic at times in that third term, gathers the footy in trouble. Kellaway's got it to Tawney. Took his eye off the ball. Kellaway didn't. Came again. Fiora spins out of one would-be tackle. Feeds it back. They drive it forward. The kick from Kellaway inside the 50. Knocked out by Camporelli. The hand pass a little less than convincing from Livingston. Got it to Beaumont. They clear the zone as the kick goes towards the outer side from Campbell. Knights. Campbell. That's Richmond's Campbell. Feeds it back. Newman, rather untidy. Andy Kellaway. Knights looking in the rear vision mirror. Gets the hand pass away to Zilla. Forward of the wing. Kicks it down towards the 50. Coming up was Rogers. Going back with courage. Was Favola and the ball's out of bounds, or was it Wiggins? It was Wiggins going back.
I'll jump in, Dennis. Have a look at this at 3/4 time. Wayne Campbell went over to have a chat to the umpires. Listen.
No, captain's not allowed to speak to us.
Got the
You've
send-off.
got to keep going, mate. I hear what you're saying.
So he may have been able to get it in, get the information across just the same. Inside 50 it goes, and this man, Wiggins, showing courage a moment ago, courage again, and has kicked 2 goals for the night. His 8th possession coming up. He's had a good one. So Campbell's able to get the message across to the umpires somewhat against the AFL rules. Lappin off one step, high in the air. Out towards Houlihan. Off the hands of the pack, over the line, out of bounds. Well, a big 17 and a half minutes of football coming up for both these teams. Carlton 66, Richmond 70.
All
Right on the line.
all the stats reveal that Richmond rarely, if ever, win a game if the opposition take more marks than them, because they do chip it around as well as the two big guns up forward marking in contested situations. Currently, they're 10 marks behind on the stat sheet.
Ratton imposes himself on the game. The left foot kick around the body. Whitnell! And Big Lance takes the mark and will line up 40 metres out. Slight angle to put Carlton back in front.
The world of league footy, Gary, neither of these teams are playing really well. So it's just going to come down to it in the end. That statistic, marking inside forward 50. Either team takes 3 or more marks inside forward 50. They'll win the game tonight.
Lance only had the 4 touches for the evening.
Second mark for Lance, his first inside 50. Lance kicks his first. Carlton are in front.
Gets his first goal of the night. Very timely. McKernan on the way down, knocked it back. Ratton half smothered off the boot. It spills wide. Ottens goes after it. Gathers it well. Andy Kellaway scrambles a kick down towards half forward. Campbell's got the run of it. Keeps it in initially and backs across the line. Teddy Jones.
Well, the Tigers obviously in need of a bit of a spark around the forward line, and who better than David Roden, who's warming up on the boundary now, Ed?
I'll take it.
He's confused.
He is, Tony confused down on the boundary line as Ottens kicks forward. Lappin almost takes the mark. Wiggins hard at it again. Campbell wraps him up. Ball up.
I wonder if the other interesting, well, the fact that may come into play, of course, that Carlton were up in Brisbane, played against the Brisbane Lions. I don't think a side that's been up there this year have been able to come back and record a victory the following week. So that may very well come into it.
Blues by 2 points. Bowden over the top, but it was Camporelli who rose. High kick, Murphy gets across, couldn't quite mark the ball. Knights hard at it, over the line and out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. We've played 5 1/4 minutes. Carlton 11-6, 72. Lead the Tigers 10-10, 70 by just 2 points.
Cranage hurriedly looking to get on. Meantime, back at the action. Murphy plays it in front. Tippendale across on the angle. Off his shin and out of bounds. Just over 16 minutes till full time then. Carlton by 2 points.
Ray Hall's come from the ground, which means that Ottens will be on the ball for as long as Hall is off the ground.
Grabbed it then. Eccles taken down. Campbell trapped it. Tivendale in the grasp. Hand passes down towards half forward. Bowden comes to meet it. Left it behind. Campbell for Carlton. Sends them towards their half forward line. Houlihan came hard, left it behind. Hickmott, quick hands, too slick for Bradley. Got it again. Bradley this time in space. The dancing feet once more. Uses the ball brilliantly. Ratton on the wrong foot. Matters not. Right at the post. He was running towards the boundary. Didn't think twice about coming back under that left boot and opening it up. And he narrowly missed. It was a wonderful effort.
11th possession to Brett Ratton. He started to find a little bit of it in this 4 or 5 minute period here.
And some good hard ones too.
Yeah, and Craig Bradley there. He just took it on himself to say, well, I've just got to find something unfold here, and held onto the ball. And what a beautiful kick.
Oh,
in
he's over Tivendale. This time he's pushed his luck too far. And it'll be a ball up in the goal square.
Well over.
You're clear right over.
Isn't that ironic that he gets away with it early in the game? Maybe no one says anything to him, and now it comes back to haunt him when the game's in the balance.
Well, they got a goal out of it, the Tigers, so this could square it up. Bowden kicked the goal at the 12.5-minute mark of the first term when Tivendale was well over from the kick out. Ball up, Ottens gets the tap. The Tigers clear. Duncan Kellaway, can they clear the zone? No, Coughlin pulled off the ball. Here's a chance for Houlihan. Bradley lifting, gets the handball back. In it comes again. They're all there. McKernan lining up. McKernan almost held the mark. Ratton front square gets one in the back. Does he? No, umpire says I'll have a bounce.
He blew the whistle quick then for the ball up.
He did.
He's moving pretty well to it, Corey.
Yeah,
I reckon.
he's been really good.
Brett Ratton's had a bit of steam taken out of him here. Let's see if he gets a collision. He's feeling it a bit, Rat.
So mad he could spit. Bounced. McKernan tries to flick it down behind. Ottens on his knees did pretty well. Kellaway gets a hand pass away. Campbell timed the release very nicely. Coughlin runs through half back. Kicks it up towards the wing. McKay from behind, defiant fist. Coughlin runs on though. Chance for the Tigers now. Tivendale, he's about 80 metres out, goes down towards the pocket. Richardson turns around, open goal beckons, goes over the top. Man on in the square, fumbles it.
Can you believe it?
Well, Richo says, I try and do the team thing, and what happens?
He's got to go to Roden now. He's got to turn around to Roden and say, keep your chin up, son. But he's cursed life at the moment. He's just going to turn it in too soon. You feel for the kid, don't you?
That is amazing.
You've got to bunk the kid up if he does that. You can't just slag off at him. You've got to bunk him up from now. You need him.
Tigers trail by 2 points. Blues through Fletcher. Take it to half forward. Out comes Hickmott. Traps it. Walks around Tawney. Did it well. Kicks it inside 50. Ratton just lurking. Here's a chance for the Mercurial Houlihan. Gets a bad bounce. Goes back again. Pulls it in. Now he has to get it out. He does to McKernan. Corey McKernan kicks to an open goal and misses. Well, neither of these teams collectively haven't won in 15 weeks. 10 for Carlton, 5 for Richmond, and neither can win tonight. Tony Jones.
Well, it's rough and ready down here, Ed. I can tell you, just as During was about to come on, the boundary umpire bowled him over.
How'd he go?
Get reported, did he?
He get back up?
Yeah, he got back up, not bad.
Big play by Fletcher down here. 2-on-1 situation and emerged with the footy.
Who wants it most, eh? Carlton by 3 points. McKernan and Ottens. Whitnell inside the 50. Houlihan worked off the line of the ball. Hyde kicks it back towards the wing then. Chance for the Tigers. Bowden close to the boundary line. Knights is on. Couldn't get the ball to him though. Campbell's got it. He can. Well, in fact, he's spotted Tivendale, and Tivendale's taken the mark, just fought at left centre wing.
Gee, Campbell's been busy this quarter too.
Tivendale, normally a long kick towards the 50, coming back with a flight of the ball. Wiggins.
He's been good, this kid. He's shown a bit of courage and good hands.
Poor choice from Tivendale.
Wiggins, not the best choice either, coming back towards the wing. The pack collapsed. Murphy left it behind. Thumps it only as far as Tivendale, who was dragged off the footy. Campbell slickly on towards half forward. Trying to knock it forward down there was Knights. Campbell comes again. Knights on one knee. Roden dragged down. Tivendale, half chance. Hand passes towards the boundary. Bowden running out of space. Is it going to be paid a free kick? No. The umpire darts across, no.
I've got to say, McKay was brilliant before us. We see Roden exiting the field. He was brilliant when he just corralled Bowden, wouldn't let him turn onto his left foot, hugged the boundary line.
36,941 in tonight. So that would be under budget for Carlton. So they've probably lost money on the night as far as their budget's concerned. Can they win the game? It comes to Tivendale.
Now.
Tivendale, who couldn't buy a goal, kicks an absolute ripper, and the Tigers are back in front.
It's by 3 points. Still plenty of time. McKernan. Ottens wins it. Taken down. Coughlin slides in. And so often the case, another bounce. 77 plays 74. It's been tight all night, apart from the opening 15 minutes when the Tigers booted the opening 4 goals. Ottens at the second attempt. Newman tried to help it on its way. Kellaway taken down immediately. Another ball up. Well, it's come down to this. 2 struggling teams fighting for a victory to end lengthy losing sequences. And obviously only one can win. Both of them have shown a lot of heart, if not finesse at times. Tivendale hurriedly inside the 50. Awkward bouncing ball. Too easy for Beaumont. Socket off the ground by Zilla. Garwood's full forward. Coming up the ground was Hall. Left it behind. Lappin kept his head. Gets a hand pass away. Needs a quick clearance. Merrington completely upended. Franchina grabs it. Jams it on the boot. Back to midfield. Blues have got the numbers. Houlihan did pretty well. Through the hands of Murphy. Houlihan kept it going. Camporelli, who's dangerous, pulls it back to centre half forward. McKernan, who's been very good, has taken the mark right on the 50. Men on short and wide. McKernan decides not to go there. He wants to kick it himself.
He's got the distance covered. We saw him earlier in the game shoot from outside 50. Wasn't it brilliant by Houlihan to keep the ball moving out to his running player going past the contest?
Better than average chance going on those statistics, and he has backed himself. He did have options.
Plenty of shots tonight too. He's batted 4-2. He kicks from 53 metres out. Has it got the carry? It wasn't pretty. It was effective. He's got 5.
So the lead changes for the third time in this final term, and Carlton put their noses back in front by 3 points. Ottens goes up against Merrington, tries to drag it out. Coghlan just threw it out. Hyde. Duncan Kellaway. You heard the umpire, play on, so Ratton decides to push it forward, looking for Lappin. It comes back to Ratton, good hands to McKay. The old firm starting to work for Carlton. The kick in from Campbell of Carlton to the forward pocket, it sits. Bradley needs to keep his feet, goes down. Keeps wrestling. Houlihan was out of bounds, was he? He was before he took his kick, and will have a throw in deep in the Carlton attacking zone. Just under 10 minutes left in the game. It's the Blues by 3 points.
He's as good as anyone in the game below his knees, Houlihan. He has clean hands once the ball hits the deck, and he can move at pace over it and keep the ball going in the direction he wants.
McKernan has 5, and Wiggins 2, the only multiple goal kickers for the Blues. McKernan gets the tap. Lance Whitnell gives it another tap. Hickmott hard at the ball. So too Coghlan for the Tigers. He's wrapped up. We'll have a bounce. No, free kick in the back.
I reckon the first one was there.
Yeah, late call if it was for the first one. There's the clearances in this last quarter, all important. 9-3, Richmond's favour, but they just can't get it into the forward line.
Blood rule Camporelli.
Third time tonight for the nose, you would imagine.
Carlton 14 frees, Richmond 10. So Camporelli actually has left the mark. He was standing the mark, and the point that Houlihan's making down there as we watch this replay is that he needs support down there, otherwise the obvious will happen. They'll set up from the back, 2-on-1.
Big huddle at centre half forward here, so it's effectively like a point kick-in.
And they bring it out then. Coghlan towards the outer side wing. Ottens couldn't hang on. This is Hall, cast in the role of a rover that time, the big fellow. And he gets it across the line, makes about 15 metres on the play. Edney back on the ground. Boundary throw and outer side.
A lot of space in Richmond's forward line if they get a quick break from this boundary line throw in centre wing.
The last time Carlton won, round 3 against Collingwood, they won by 20 points. Sorry, Ed.
Yeah, bring that up, Dennis.
Ottens gets it down. Lappin couldn't control it. Newman kept it going. Hooks it inside the 50. Richardson missed it. Snatched away by Beaumont in the grasp. Ratton quick hands. Livingston nicely done. Campbell somehow got it to Cranage, a throw. I think it was. It was more a fumble than a throw. But they've counted it the same way. Whoops. Meanwhile, to the pocket, Campbell.
Well, so often he goes forward as well, and players are leading forward, and they probably need him. I was just thinking, if you're a Richmond supporter, he comes to Tivendale.
How about that? Just sneaking in behind the defence. Tivendale, as if in slow motion, has this ball 35 metres out.
That's unforgivable, isn't it?
Yep.
Game in the balance, a bloke can sit there. I mean, that footy takes 2 seconds to get to him, and still no one. I don't even think they knew he was there.
I reckon he was stiff. Was it Doering who got the throw against him? Because if that ball had got the throw against him for the turnover, if it had hit the deck, it's play on.
Tivendale, 7 possessions in the term. His last running goal was very good. What's he done with this one? Well, the standing shot, not even lukewarm. And that says it all.
Had a horrid year, hasn't he, in front of goal? There was a game Richmond played, it was on the line a couple of weeks ago against the Kangaroos, where he really struggled to hit the scoreboard.
And Colonial, 13 goals, 15 for the season, and 1 goal 2 tonight. And that was one to put them in front, and there you go. I tell you what, I keep telling you, I don't think either of these sides know how to win.
Absolutely right.
Well, Carlton are the worst kick-in team in the league. They've had the least scoring opportunities from their kick-in at the other end.
Tivendale kicks to the square. Oh, Lappin takes a screamer in the last line of defence. Can that spark the Blues? He runs out with 2 bounces. Hits Whitnell at defence of 50. Under 8 minutes left in the game. Carlton by 2 points. Hanging on. Chipping the ball around. Beaumont. Back to Lance. At half-back. Houlihan does it beautifully. soft hands. Now he plays on straight away. Leppin's kept running. Here's Leppin. He drops the easy mark. Now he recovers. He squares it up. The kick is a beauty. And the mark has been taken by Doring. And he will line up in similar fashion to what Greg Tivendale did just moments ago. And if he kicks this, Carlton will lead by 8 points.
What about Lappin, the length of the ground?
Exactly. A couple of individual performances. Lappin there, that one end, and then the other end setting it up. But Doring was the player that kicked the ball out of bounds from the point kick in too only moments ago. So
he's run.
Redemption.
He's kicked 1 for the night. He's kicked 2 for the season. A vital goal. He kicks the goal and Carlton lead by 8 points.
8 points, 7 minutes to go. Up go the ruckman. Otten's brilliantly. Campbell on the burst. Newman wants a bit of time. Dragged down in the act of kicking. It wanders down towards full forward. Is that holding on to Zantuck?
Yep.
He's going to get the free kick. 20 metres out.
Oh, it's a catch-22, isn't it? I just was going to say maybe it's time for Ottens to go to the goal square and see if he can't take a couple of big marks and kick a few big goals. And then his ruck work in the middle of the ground was exquisite. The Campbell and the clearance become so important. I don't know whether Ty Zantuck is the most reliable kick for goal in the world.
Dennis will tell you.
4 career goals, 2 this season.
2
in almost the identical position. But he dropped that mark earlier in the game. Comes in and makes amends, does he?
I'm backing him.
Yes.
Ty Zantuck kicks his 3rd goal for the season, his 5th for his career, and the Tigers are back within 2 points. Here we go. Secondary bounce.
Through necessity, Carlton have had to throw Hickmott back onto the back flank again, and he's up against Kane Pettifer, who kicked 3 pretty easy goals on him earlier.
Blues have 4 times been beaten by less than 15 points this season, and this one seems like it'll be decided by less than that margin again. Umpires picked out a free kick.
Red hot.
Plenty of chances and you put it down.
There you go, dropping the ball against Hyde. Will go to Lappin, who's lifted in this final term. Lappin goes out wide. They need to man up the Tigers. The mark's been taken by Merrington. Still inside the centre square.
Ottens, his opponent, went down to mind Whitnell and left Merrington loose, so they have got big Brad Ottens in defence here.
They've got the flood going, but Merrington just puts it high in the air. Hoping. Tigers everywhere there. No one could take the mark. It goes to the ground. Duncan Kellaway's held up. Umpire will bounce. We're 40 metres out.
Lappin had the ball in the middle. Lappin had the ball in the middle there, Ed. He looked up, he saw Lance Whitnell, and as Ottens was getting him, Lance just directed him to kick it to Merrington. He just controls everything, Lance Whitnell, even when he hasn't got hands on.
Carlton forward line. Here's Doring. He's kicked the last one. Around the body he goes, and this one is into the stand. Free kick Carlton back pocket. Sorry, free kick Richmond back pocket. They trail by 2 points.
Under 5 minutes to go, and so far, Wayne Britton resisting the temptation of getting McKernan up on the ball. Beautiful kick coming out. Tivendale close to the boundary line. Carlton by 2 points. Tivendale surely has played on. Goes in short. Campbell just forward of half back. Wayne Campbell across the ground. Well-weighted kick. Gaspar takes it, plays on. It's a turnover in midfield, is it? Edney's over the football. Surely he's holding it. The umpire says held to him.
I don't reckon he actually got a strike of the boot on the ball, which technically means it is dropping the ball, holding the ball the way they've adjudicated. Let's have a look. No, that's a clean miss.
That is a free and a great tackle. They've pinged one out to stop play here. It's gone to Edney.
Gone to the Tigers.
Fiora, how about that? A bit of luck going the Tigers' way. Knocked down in front of the pack. Ratton came back to Hickmott. He was the man who punched it down. McKay. They hold firm. This defence has been very good. Camporelli chips it up towards the wing. Whitnell overcommitted. Couldn't hang on. Now don't ping him, surely. No. The umpire comes across and will ball it up.
Aaron Fiora short to a 50-50. Pettifer on McKay. He had to go long. He's a lovely big left foot kick. Get it into that goal scoring area in the goals. We get a contest from Richardson and see if he can't get a crumb.
Camporelli off. You just saw Fletcher coming back onto the ground. Whitnell goes up. It was Ottens who got the tap to Zilla. He kicks up towards the forward 50. Richo O's, and he goes up. Couldn't quite hold the mark. Comes down to Merrington. A blind kick. Whitnell again from behind Andrew Kellaway. Did well, Lance Whitnell, over the line and out of bounds. 2 points the difference. Carlton lead Richmond. They have lost their last 10, this famous navy blue side from Optus Oval. Big John Elliott back from the United States for the game tonight. And all those Blues fans looking for a win. Maybe get them off the bottom of the ladder. Kellaway kicks forward. Tigers have lost the last 5. This is a huge game.
Big play, this one. Huge play, this one right here. Carlton were able to get a break here. They've got so much room up the other end. McKernan's in good form. Richmond get a break there, got a shot on goal.
Inside 3 minutes at goal.
Sorry, with all the room, Houlihan looms as the danger up there.
Ottens gets it down to Tivendale. Tivendale to Kellaway, trying to find some space. Tawney's grabbed. Did he get one high? No, says the umpire. Campbell wants the boundary line. Did he get a push? No, says the umpire. Throw it in.
Still a big clearance. Still a massive clearance, this one.
Well, it's palpable. You can feel it. Two proud clubs going at it. Eccles, Cranage. The ball stays in and the ball up, and the clock continues to run, at least for the moment. We're down to 2:25. Carlton by 2 points.
Ottens is getting enough hand on this footy for them to set something up at this plate.
Wayne Britton looking for his first victory over the Tigers. Ottens with the run, got up very high, knocked it down. Bowden through the traffic, sends a long kick down towards full forward. Big leap down there, Merrington. Zantuck, the unlikely hero, no! He's missed. Wow, the unthinkable. We talked about who would win this game all week long.
Exactly.
Now we're looking down the barrel of a tie.
It was peculiar that Lance Whitnell chose to go directly face on in the ruck battle to Brad Ottens too.
Gambarelli goes for distance. Richardson completely misjudged it.
Sorry, Dennis.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just frustrated at him. He's had a nightmare.
Premature elevation. Watch this.
Yeah, and of the worst kind.
Yeah, needed to just thump it back inside 50 or take the mark.
Play the percentages. You've got to play the percentage. Game on the line.
Well, that's what Lance Whitnell did. He played the percentage. He knew he was going to get jumped over, so he protected the drop zone of the ball.
He's given up 3 free kicks tonight, Richard. Beaumont, so good back there across the ground. Merrington lumbers away. Good kick. Lappin has it down towards left half forward. Could come back to Merrington if he wants. Elects not to. Good running by Campbell to go across and close him down. Under a minute and a half. Carlton clinging by a point. Lappin, very much a hero for them in his final term, goes for distance, hugs the boundary. Ratton gave a contest. Camporelli, moments ago in defence, running hard to the forward line, tied up.
The worst thing that could happen here is if Carlton score a point, it'll give Richmond possession, and they're not bad at moving the ball from one end to the other.
Danny Frawley absolutely frustrated beyond belief. 7 possessions for Lappin for the quarter. We have got a minute left in this game. Bradley hugging the boundary line. Over it goes. Clock stops on 53 seconds.
They'd be aware. They would be aware in the coach's box. Yet the Carlton haven't stacked their defence at all. There's still plenty of room. If Richmond get a break at this particular stop play, they are still a chance.
So many of these young Carlton players are yet to sing Lily of Laguna, and a free kick has been picked out. It's going the way of Carlton, is it? Yes. It is to McKernan. Clock still ticking. Now it stops at 46. McKernan, as Dermot said, if he kicks a point, he'll hand the ball over for the Tigers.
And it'll only take perhaps 12, 15 seconds to get it from one end to the other on a quick play to maybe score the winning goal.
Carlton have had 1 victory for the season. Inside 40 seconds to sing the song for the second time. McKernan kicks it to the square. Up they go, off hands. Chance for Ratton, he gets it out. Houlihan, Cranage tries to crash through, over the top. A ball up is what Carlton want, and McKay makes sure they get it. The clock is ticking. 20 seconds away from victory for Carlton. Ball up. McKernan has been a hero tonight with 5 goals. Another ball up. Free kick to Richmond. Last roll of the dice. Carlton are going to win. Over the top it goes. The countdown is on. 2-1. Carlton won by points.
Good on him.
Look at that. Carlton have sung this song the second most amount of times in AFL history. And tonight they'll sing it long and strong.
And what a way to bring up your second victory. I mean, no easy win, nothing that Wayne Britton could sit back and
What a
enjoy
job.
in the last quarter or so. Finally, it's coming. It goes right to the death, and it'll make it all the more enjoyable when they do belt out that We Are the Navy Blues.
Well, if there's some consolation for Carlton's horrid year, it's they've had wins against Collingwood and Richmond, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true. Gee, opportunity, Dave, for the Tigers throughout the course of the night, and that's why Danny Frawley's hair could have got another shade grey. But I tell you what, Corey McKernan was an absolute superstar tonight.
He certainly was, and we're ready to speak to Corey McKernan now with Tony Jones.
Yes, thanks very much, Eddie. If anything was like September down here at the moment, Corey, sadly though it's not.
Oh, I'm just so glad we won. I would have been shattered if we had lost another close one, but full credit to the boys. Just so glad we won.
It was in the balance there right up until probably the last 20 seconds or so. You wouldn't have known the time, but it had been billed through the week as a mini-final that wasn't a final. Is that the way you guys approached it?
Not really. We knew we'd been playing pretty well the last 3 or 4 weeks, so we knew if we played that same brand of footy, we're gonna have a good game.
It's been about 10 or 11 weeks since you've heard that song, Corey. Do you remember it?
Well, it's my second time, so I'm going to belt it out.
All right, and just one final one. In fact, if I could remember it, I'd ask you. Go and enjoy the night. Good on you, Corey.
Tony's confused. Luke Livingston, Sam Cranage, Andrew Eccles, Brett Thornton and Blake Campbell will sing Lily of Laguna for the first time in their career, and Big Jack will be belting it out. You can sing it with his mouth closed, John, you know.
I've heard him do that. You were there too.
He will be singing it tonight with his mouth open. There's no doubt about it.
That's an exciting time, and it may sound trivial, but the first time you get to sing the song, put your arm around a champion, be it Whitnell, be it Ratnell, be it Bradley, Camporelli, whoever, and actually sing a song with them, there's a strange sort of little club forms out of that.
And I tell you what, a bloke who has been under the hammer since he's been at Carlton is Corey McKernan. 5 goals, 2 tonight. He is the hero, and he can walk off the ground, and he will lead them off the ground as the man who won the game for Carlton. He's done that for them, and he joins a long list of Carlton heroes over the years. McKay and McKernan lead Carlton off the ground, having won by 1 point, 13-8-86. Richmond 12-13-85.
Just a fantastic performance by Corey McKernan. He's resurrected a career. Think back to those early games, he really was out of touch, and I think most people thought it was all over. Yet tonight on Friday Night Football, he's come out and he has dominated this game. He put his stamp on it, 5 goals, and certainly it was the telling performance in the outcome of this one as the Blues pick up their second victory.
Dan, you don't want to dwell on the negatives because this is a big positive moment, but the heat will be transferred to one Emmett Richardson from the Richmond Footy Club after tonight. But let's stay with this Carlton side. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, we'll take the song and then we'll head to Wimbledon, and good luck to Leighton Hewitt tonight. Here they go. The Blues have won their second in season 2002. They have defeated the arch rivals Richmond by 1 point, 13-8-86. Richmond 12-13-85. Corey McKernan with 5 goals, the hero. And of course the football continues on the 9 network on Sunday with Melbourne and Brisbane from 1 o'clock after Gary Lyon's Sunday Footy Show, followed by the big game from Adelaide. Adelaide versus Collingwood, picking up at the action live from quarter time with the quarter time highlights proceeding. It's Hewitt and Henman next. Good luck to Leighton Hewitt, the South Australian superstar, the #1 player in the world, hoping to make it through to his first Wimbledon final. We hope you've enjoyed Friday Night Football. This is AFL on 9.